HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station. Your home for Chiefs football.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
And your home for Royals baseball.
Fastball hit high in the air, deep left field, way gone into the bleachers. A two-run homer for Bobby Witt Jr.
Watch The Drive by subscribing on our YouTube channel or listen on demand with the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This show is always going to stand on principles. Dippin' Dots are incredible. Red Lobster is the best restaurant that America has to offer, and baked beans are trash.
You're listening to Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan. Here's C-Dot.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You are listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Excited to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. And do we have a lot to get into coming up in today's show? Coming up in about an hour, we're going to be joined by someone in the Kansas City Business Journal. There's certainly a lot of business to talk about related to the local sports teams. We'll get to that coming up in just a little bit. We're going to be joined by Matt Tate. Rob is super decked out today. Now, you guys know that Rob is a Kansas basketball season ticket holder. He's got a hat. He's got a little golf polo that he has buttoned up to the absolute top button. He's going to the game today, and Rob is excited that Darren Peterson is going to play. Now, they have not announced that he is going to play or not, but they have released an injury report. So they do injury reports now. Yes, the same way that they have them in the National Football League, they do injury reports when it comes to college athletics because, you know, gambling and all of that. And Darren Peterson was not on the injured list today. So the expectation is that he is going to play later tonight going up against TCU. I am here to tell you guys that if you have been unable to afford to take your little one to a Kansas basketball game, tonight is the night to go. Rob and I were looking at it. Rob's tickets that he has right now for his season tickets, they're going for $11 right now on StubHub. Now, Rob is not going to sell you his 2 tickets to the game. He's going to use those tickets. But if you want to take little Timmy out to the Kansas basketball game because you've never had the opportunity to, let me tell you, tonight, it's fun for the whole family. You don't even got to pay to park at KU games if you know what you're doing, Rob. Go down there to Burger Bar off Mass Street. Always a great time. Find you somewhere to park in the city, walk to the game, and you can watch the Kansas basketball team play. Family of 4, less than $50 today if you want to take them out to the game. We got a lot to get into in today's show. Again, my name is Carrington. Rob is here taking you up until 6 o'clock. We're going to get to the Royals here coming up momentarily, but I need you guys to do me a couple of favors. Number one, I need you guys listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. Number 2, I need you to tell one friend to check out the show. And number 3, and most importantly, I need you guys to remember that the open of the show is brought to you by our friends over at The Other Place. We got 5 great days of football coming up starting on Thursday with the college football semifinals. Best place to sit there and watch the games, grab a bite to eat, grab something to drink, and catch up with all the matchups is with our friends over at The Other Place. So I want to read to you guys a story. And this story right now is on the front page of the Fox 4 website. Now, this story is other places, but we love and support Fox 4 on this show. The Kansas House Speaker on Monday doubled down on his view that the Royals have missed their December 31st deadline to take advantage of the Kansas Stadium Star Bond package that is going to help finance a new Chiefs Stadium in Wyandotte County. Now, I'm not going to read to you every single part of this story, but I will read you a couple of quotes. Now, I want you to think very logically about this when it comes to the Royals. Now, I want you to remove any personal feelings or biases or any of those things, and I just want you to focus in on the facts. Rob, did you know that Kansas is the 35th most populated state in the union? Every state that has fewer people than Kansas does not have a professional sports team. Now, some of these are in different situations and not in the unique situation where Kansas directly touches a state where the suburbs of that place, a lot of people consider it to be Kansas, but you follow here. Kansas is the 35th most populated state. Every state after them does not have a professional sports team. Kansas wants me to believe that there is a world in which a Major League Baseball team, I don't care who it is, it could be the Royals, it could be the A's, it could be the Chicago White Sox. They want me to think that there is a world in which a team calls the Royals or calls the state of Kansas and says, we want to move to the state of Kansas, and Kansas would be, oh no, you've missed your deadline. Now, Kansas in this statement is talking real tough, and we'll talk about why I think they're talking tough, or maybe more specifically, why Dan Hawkins is talking tough. Quote, we put an end to all of that on December 31st. Believe me, I was not kidding when I said that, Dan. No one believes you. Now, I don't think the Royal Stadium is going to be in Kansas, but I am telling you that if the Royals go to the state of Kansas and say that we have made our decision and we plan on building a stadium on the land that we own, Kansas will openly accept them. They don't have a choice. Dan Hawkins, quote, we put an end to all of that on December 31st. Believe me, I was not kidding when I said that. We've gotten a speedway that's been paid off. We have the whole Legends area that would have never happened. And look at all the money that has come out of that now. Now, this is the most important part of all of this. And this is the commentary part that I will give you. Kansas is talking like the state that got exactly what they wanted. Sure, they would like the Royals. They really wanted the Chiefs. They have been courting the Chiefs. When you think of all of the public statements that have come out of the last year and a half or so, they've all been related to the Chiefs. That has been their number one and prime objective. They are doing some really cool things out there by the Legends. They're about to turn old Schlitterbahn into a new amusement park with Great Wolf Lodge and the stadiums and the festivals that happen now at Legends Field where the T-Bone/Monarchs play, with Nebraska Furniture Mart and everything at the Legends. Like, they are doing some really cool stuff out at Wyandotte County. This is now their crown jewel. It's almost like they have been building up that part of the state and that part of the Kansas City Metro for this moment. Like, they knew exactly when the lease was up with Jackson County, and they were going to make a very hard push to attract the Kansas City Chiefs. And it worked. You won. Sure, the deal's not 100% signed, but I strongly believe, and there's no reason not to, that the Chiefs are going to complete a deal with the state of Kansas and Wyandotte County, and that's where they're going to be, somewhere over there. I don't know exactly where, but somewhere. They will be somewhere near where the Kansas Speedway is. Now, the Royals are a little bit of a different question, but I am telling you, Kansas does not have the leverage in this situation, regardless of how much they want to convince you that they do. They are waiting for the Royals, and that this is a negotiation tactic between two sides. The Royals are certainly taking their sweet time, and after how it failed almost 2 years ago, I don't blame them. The next time that the Royals take a shot, I want them to make sure they don't miss. So if that's putting something on the ballot in Jackson County, if that's putting something on the ballot in Kansas City, Missouri, or if that's making the move over to 119th and all, you get one more shot at this. You cannot miss. So this deadline is not real to me. Nothing they're saying is real to me. If you are a state like Kansas and a Major League Baseball team tells you we are moving to your state, you do everything in your power to accommodate them and be great hosts. That is how you handle it. Now, it is also important to note in all of this. So this is the person who talked to Fox 4. Speaker Hawkins, who took over the chair, told our Fox 4 that he is moving on from the Star Bonds. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the Royals still can't cut a deal just using a different metric, and that the both sides are still negotiating between the state of Kansas and also the Kansas City Royals. So on one side of this, please don't buy into this, and do not think that this now eliminates 119th and all from a possible site for the Kansas City Royals. Now, I will say this, and Rob, I'm curious to get your thoughts on this as someone who lives over on the Kansas side and would be relatively close to the stadium, the proposed idea for the stadium. I think you've seen a renewed energy from Kansas City, Missouri, and a renewed energy from Jackson County in the last 14 days or so about the future of the Kansas City Royals. And you have seen more push and more energy and more conversation around a possible downtown stadium. You guys know my stance on this. There's only one place that would energize the city. I don't want the Royal Stadium on 119th and all as much as I don't want the Royal Stadium in North Kansas City. If the Royals are going to move from their current location, and they have told us at every single turn that that is their plan, that that is their future, then they need to be somewhere in downtown Kansas City. Now, we might disagree on where you think that should be, but it should be somewhere in downtown Kansas City. So if the East Village idea is back up and running, and Mayor Quentin Lucas said that yesterday in the press conference, that the East Village idea is not completely closed, whether it's Washington Square Park, whether it's having another conversation about the Crossroads, whatever it is, I just know that the Royals need to be in downtown Kansas City, Missouri. And that is the only way that I will accept that this story is going to end. So we don't have to spend all day on it. I don't have 4 hours of stadium conversation. We'll certainly pop in and out as we were trying to figure out what the Royals are going to do. But please don't let Kansas fool you and now talk tough because you got an NFL team. Stop it. We don't believe you. You need more people. If the Royals want to move over there, Dan Hawkins would be at the front of the line celebrating what a massive win for the state of Kansas this is, because it would be a massive win for the state. Kansas has less than 3 million people. Less than 3 million people live in Kansas, and you got a chance to have an NFL team and a Major League Baseball team. You will figure out the money. You can always figure out the money. You will 100% figure all of that out. Coming up on the other side, I do want to bounce back and forth today. Let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. I got a question, Rob, and I'd rather just get this question out early because I know as longer as the show gets and more you got to work, you get a little bit ornery. I don't think Isaiah Pacheco is coming back. I'll be very interested to hear how you guys are going to remember Isaiah Pacheco's career in Kansas City and as it's come to a close. We'll talk about that next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan.
It's funny how one little light can stall out your entire day. I was already running behind, and now this, the check engine light. So I reached out to my go-to problem solver. Dad, check engine light. What do? He didn't miss a beat. Take it to Telly, he said. So I did. When I got there, they didn't just fix my car. They fixed my day. They were quick, clear, and took care of everything. Next time my car glitches out, I'm headed for Telly. Don't let that little light be game over. Take it to Telly.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
The world's largest sportsbook at your fingertips has arrived in Missouri. Circus Sports is sports betting the way it should be. With high app limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service, Circus Sports is better for the better. From football to basketball, college sports to pro, start betting like the pros in Missouri. Built for sports bettors by sports bettors. Download your new bookie today at circusports.com. Must be 21 or older. For problem gambling, call the Problem Gamblers Helpline at 1-800-522-4700.
Jeff Montgomery here for Amoeba Medical. The new year is all about turning the page and feeling your best. Men, if better sleep and fewer bathroom trips are on your list, an enlarged prostate could be the reason. I decided not to carry that problem into another year and contacted Dr. Brown at Amoeba Medical. Their non-surgical treatment was fast, simple, and came with minimal recovery time. And it's covered by insurance. Start the year more comfortable and well-rested. Schedule a visit with Dr. Brown and the team at Miva Medical in Kansas City. Miva Medical, MIVA-medical.com.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a little more.
I'm worth a lot more.
I completely agree. You are worth more, and your car's worth more, and we want to pay more at GiveMeTheVin.com for good cars, because they are worth more, and so are you. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100. For top price, trust, and ease of transaction, GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CODE to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Looking for something smart, soulful, and full of heart? I'm Jen Hatmaker, host of For the Love, the podcast where we talk about what really matters: love and family, faith and purpose. Every week, I'm joined by incredible guests for honest conversations that invite all of us to live with more intention, more laughter, and more connection. Join us on For the Love wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, Rob, coming up in a bit, I want to get to some of the things that Nate Taylor had to say when he joined the midday show. Shout out to Nate Taylor. Let's talk about this. Now, I want to get this out of the way early in the show, Rob, because I know around 4:15, 4:30, you got to cut more audio, you got to take more phone calls, you got to upload the podcast page. Sometimes you get a little surly, and I get it, you know? Nobody wants to work at work, you know? How do you think people are going to remember Isaiah Pacheco? Because there was a time, I remember that Isaiah Pacheco was one of the more popular players on the team. Now, I'm not saying he was a Kelsey or a Mahomes or a Chris Jones, but it wasn't that long ago that the Chiefs were winning Super Bowls and Isaiah Pacheco was at the front dancing all in the videos. There wasn't that long ago when Isaiah Pacheco was getting memed and people were laughing and we loved his run style and he was little Poppy and all people used to love Isaiah Pacheco. There really is two versions of Pacheco. Man, the version that they had the first 2 years was a very productive, capable running back. As a rookie, 170 carries for 830 yards and 5 touchdowns. His second year, 205 carries, 935 yards, 7 touchdowns, could catch the ball out of the backfield, could pass block, could do the little things that you needed them to do, and they won a Super Bowl with Isaiah Pacheco as their running back. And then the second half of the contract has completely fallen apart. He had 310 yards last year in a very injury-riddled season, and this past year, he had 462 yards rushing in another injury-filled season, and he wasn't the best running back on their roster. There really is a before the injury with Isaiah Pacheco and an after the injury with Isaiah Pacheco. This is what I don't fault him for, and I think that he was unfairly put in a situation. I think it was kind of clear at the end of year 3 that the Chiefs needed to move in a different direction, and it was time to move on from Isaiah Pacheco. Now, they rolled the dice, and they gambled that Pacheco could go back to being the same running back that he was. And basically, their entire run game philosophy was that Pacheco was going to bounce back. They were wrong. He didn't. I mean, this organization spent the 251st pick on Isaiah Pacheco. So regardless of how the last 2 years have gone, the fact that they got almost 1,800 yards rushing in the first 2 years with the 251st overall pick is an overwhelming win. The fact that there was a time, and it wasn't that long ago, where we looked at their offense and said they only got 3 guys that you can count on. One is Rashee Rice, one is Travis Kelce, and one is Isaiah Pacheco, is an overwhelming positive. And I think what you saw is after the injury, he just wasn't the same. One of the flaws that I think we all have, and I put myself in this conversation, is whenever a guy gets hurt and then he comes back and he's healthy, or a guy gets hurt and then he gets surgery, we think you come back and you were good as new. And that was not the case with Isaiah Pacheco. He was never healthy in the second half of last season and probably shouldn't have come back. I think that messed with his mental. I think physically he wasn't the same player. He certainly hasn't run with the same reckless abandon the last couple of years. And then this year, when they were asking him to be that same guy that helped you go to a Super Bowl a couple of years ago, he doesn't have that ability. He doesn't have that ability anymore. He's not that guy anymore. The Chiefs held on to Isaiah Pacheco a season too long. And that is much more of an organization flaw to me than it is about Isaiah Pacheco. I'm going to remember Pacheco as a tough, hard runner who was really good in the teammate, who was a really good guy to be around. And just, he was a joke that you kept telling too many times. That was really funny the first couple of times, but by the third and fourth time that you've heard the joke, it had just lost all of its effectiveness. And I don't think that that's his fault. Regardless of what happens this offseason with Isaiah Pacheco, I'm going to have very positive feelings about the kind of player that he was and the impact that he had on the roster when he was healthy. And I'm not going to hold it too much against him. From years, once we get further removed from this thing, I'm not really going to hold it too much against Pacheco these last 18 months or so, because I firmly believe that the organization put him in a bad spot these last 2 years.
I really hope you're correct, because that's how he should be remembered. He should go down as a guy who ended up being a success story as a 7th-round pick. Like, it's a little bit cross. You'll understand the analogy. If Brashard Smith has the career that Isaiah Pacheco had in Kansas City, that's a win from a 7th-round pick running back. That's how I hope that he gets remembered. I just worry because of the injury in 24 and him being bad in 25 and the run game being the major issue in 25 and all those things, if there's going to be a sour taste in fans' mouths. Now, time heals all wounds. Like, you know, when Daniel Sorensen eventually left Kansas City, most people said, see you later, good riddance. But I think fans eventually remember, the fourth down stop on the fake punt for the Texans, those sorts of things. The way you're describing him is how he should be described. I think he should be the way that Royals fans view Paulo Orlando. When times were good, he's good. When times are bad, he's not good enough to elevate you out of bad times, and there's nothing wrong with that from a 7th-round running back. But I do worry that 2025 was so bad, and he was part of the reason it was so bad, and the run game was this monstrosity that they're going to point to him and say, well, 2025 was bad, and one of the reasons is they bet on Isaiah Pacheco, which will be unfair to his NFL career.
I do think when it comes to Pacheco, and this is like me not throwing no shade at you, Rob, I promise. I do think that Isaiah Pacheco kind of represents a flawed thinking and maybe an archaic way of thinking of the running back position. When you and I first started this journey, you were really big on turn and burn. Don't spend big-time resources on a running back. You can find one in the 5th, 6th round. You can get as much as you can about that guy. When he breaks, what does it matter? You throw him away. Like a toy you get when you take your kid to the circus. Everybody has those little lash-up those little flashy light-up toys. You know that toy's not going to last you 3 months, but you know what? In the meantime, your kid's going to have a fit. If you don't get him that toy, you got to buy it, and when it breaks later, you'll deal with it then. That's how we talked about running backs when Isaiah Pacheco first started his career. Man, the league has changed a lot in the 4 years since Isaiah Pacheco has been there. Man, look at these other teams in the National Football League. Man, nobody is just throwing out there a 7th-round pick at running back and hoping for the best. That's not the way the league is in 2026. Look at Seattle. Look at Chicago. Look at Philadelphia. Look at the Rams. Look at these teams that you think can win the Super Bowl. Man, nobody right now has the turn and burn. We're not going to spend resources at the running back position, and when it breaks, oh, well, we'll just start over. No, teams are building their offense around the ability to run the football and incorporating that guy into things that you want to do. So the Isaiah Pacheco model, it actually worked in 2022. Hey, why would you spend a high draft pick? Man, you can find a running back anywhere. They're a dime a dozen. We just like there were coins in the couch. And no, they're not. Not the ones that you want to keep and not the ones that you think are going to hold up over their rookie contract. And now I think in hindsight, you know exactly why Isaiah Pacheco was a 7th-round pick. For a guy who was very productive, you can certainly see how a guy like that falls through the cracks. Doesn't really have a lot of home run speed, but boy, does he try hard. And you want to root for a guy like that. You want to root for a guy who runs hard, who puts his shoulder down, who's willing to put his body on the line. But in some ways, ultimately, I mean, can't you argue that cost him his career? Isaiah Pacheco ain't got too much longer in the league. Isaiah Pacheco ain't playing 10 years in the National Football League. Isaiah Pacheco has maybe 2, maybe 3 more years left in the league. But boy, when you were good, when you were healthy, before you broke down, you were a productive player. You weren't a superstar running back by any means, but you certainly were a good 1A, 1B type running back. You were a thunder and lightning part of a combination kind of running back. And again, for the 251st overall pick, to be a guy who runs for 935 yards, even with the information that we have about how the second half of that contract went, Isaiah Pacheco's draft was an A. The drafting of Isaiah Pacheco, the draft grade, I would give an A. The fact that you spent that little of a resource and you got that level of production for the first 2 years at his position, it is an A draft pick in my mind.
I agree. And so the text line points out that we were hard on Isaiah Pacheco all year. Yes, we absolutely were. Well, because he was a symptom of the larger disease. We were hard on him because even me, who hates running back, all offseason, we're like, hey, I don't know if Pacheco and Hunt is enough. Lo and behold, it wasn't enough. I hope that's not how fans remember him, though. Isaiah Pacheco's failures in 2025 as a season with the Chiefs and the run game and all those things are not things I'm putting at Isaiah Pacheco's feet. And maybe that's unfair by me. Maybe I'm being an apologist, and that's fine. But the run game failures of 2025, they fall at Brett Veach's feet.
I agree.
So Isaiah Pacheco being bad this year, I feel bad for the guy. He clearly rushed back from injury. He was never right after injury, all the things you said. But I personally, I can't speak for Chiefs fans, am not going to say, man, the run game stunk and that falls on Pacheco. In my mind, the run game stunk because they relied too heavily on Pacheco, and that reliance stemmed from the general manager drafted a 7th-round converted wide receiver, signed a decrepit Kareem Hunt, and said, Isaiah will be healthy, let's go get him. That's where the run game failures are for me. So yes, the texter says the drive was hard on Pacheco all season. Maybe it came off that way. I can only speak for me. We were hard on Brett Veach for not doing enough. It wasn't a failure by Isaiah Pacheco.
And I also think in these that the answer can be both. I mean, you don't win the World Series without Alex Gordon. He also is a reason why things went so poorly after the run had ended. You don't win the Super Bowl without the productivity of Isaiah Pacheco. A major reason of why the Chiefs missed the playoffs this year was they continued to believe in Isaiah Pacheco. Both of those things can be true when it comes to him. Isaiah Pacheco was a really good draft pick for the Chiefs that, again, it was over, and they just didn't see that it was over when it was obvious that it was over. It was clear. Whenever the 2024 season ended, at the end of his 3rd year, it was obvious that the Chiefs had gotten everything they could get out of Isaiah Pacheco. That was it. This was not a relationship. This was a fling. That's what it was. This was a summer fling. You guys were not meant to be together once you guys went back to your regular lives. No, this was a really cool summer thing. Now you try to do the long distance, and wait, hold on. No, it just wasn't going to work the same anymore. So yeah, I'm with you. I was hard on Isaiah Pacheco this year. He had a terrible final year with the Kansas City Chiefs, and they wasted a lot of everybody's time by giving him carries. But now that it's over, we get the ability to step back and look back and he was put to me in an impossible situation. The Chiefs' entire run game plan in 2025 was hoping Isaiah Pacheco could bounce back to what he was. They were wrong. They were not close to being right. They didn't move like an organization that moved differently. Everything they did this offseason in relation to the run game was based off they thought they were going to get 2022 Isaiah Pacheco back, and they didn't get that version back. I want to play for you guys what Nate Taylor had to say. He was on the midday show earlier today. He was asked about the opening right now that the Chiefs have an offensive coordinator. Here's what Nate Taylor had to say.
Number one is you have to be the right companion for Andy. Andy's going to scheme guys open. That's just a fact, right? So as offensive coordinator, my belief is, how do we get these things to mirror? How do we get these things to match, to synchronize once again in the running game, in the specialty plays, in the red zone, short yardage? The creativity has been lacking, I think, especially in the red zone. And that was something that, if Chiefs fans remember, they were excellent in like that 2020, 2021, 2022 era of them just being excellent in the red zone. So Andy's always going to be pass first. We understand that. It's a passing league. He's got the best quarterback we've ever seen play the position. But you still have to have a number of diverse variety of ways to run the ball well, to have things, again, match up so that it's not as easy for the defense to decipher certain things in terms of not being as predictable. And so that's where you work with Andy in terms of the game plan on a week-to-week basis, and obviously the scheme that you're developing from essentially after the combine all the way up until, week one.
So you're saying job one is refine the scheme.
You just have to be the right partner, right?
I have no inside knowledge. If I did, I would tell you. I think right now you have to consider Cliff Kingsbury to be the Vegas favorite to be the Chiefs' new offensive coordinator.
I don't feel that way at all.
You don't?
I don't feel that way at all.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, you're good.
I think if you open FanDuel right now and you said who's the betting favorite between the Chiefs offensive coordinator, Mike Kafka is the overwhelming betting favorite. I don't know that Andy wants to shake it up the way Cliff Kingsbury would shake it up.
That's interesting because this is why I feel opposite. So I'm happy to have this conversation. I think there are certain people that when you get to a level of position at your job, you can be the one to make this is a me call. I think that Patrick Mahomes is at the stage in his career that if the Chiefs are looking for a new offensive coordinator, his voice is the loudest. And we know about the relationship with him and Cliff Kingsbury. If Pat goes to his boss and says, this is what I want, I think they are inclined to listen to what he has to say. Now, maybe he doesn't have that conversation, and I don't know. That's a private conversation between them. Maybe he feels more strongly about Mike Kafka. But right now, you have an opening at offensive coordinator, and you've got the number one quarterback in the National Football League. Man, if Patrick Mahomes calls Andy Reid on the phone and says, hey, coach, let me talk to you for a bit. I've really given this some thought, and I want Cliff Kingsbury to be the offensive coordinator. I think if you're Clark Hunt, you need to hire him. Now, how much is he willing to go to bat? Rob, you and I know this is like everybody's job. There's some things you're willing to fight for. There's some things you're not willing to fight for. There's some things I suggest that, hey, cool, Spec, you make a decision. There's some things I'm putting my foot down. No, this is what we're doing today. How strongly does Pat feel about Cliff Kingsbury being their next offensive coordinator, I think is it. But if Cliff Kingsbury is available, at a minimum, Patrick Mahomes' endorsement gets him an interview. Patrick Mahomes' endorsements get you in front of Andy Reid, get you in front of Brett Veach, and now you can communicate how you could possibly make this thing work. To me, you owe it to Pat to at least sit down and really consider Cliff Kingsbury to end up being your next offensive coordinator.
So I agree with you there. I think if Pat calls Andy or Brett or Clark, I don't know how the power structure works. Pat just calls and says, you need to get him an interview. He will get an interview.
100%.
I just don't think philosophically he gels with Andy Reid enough for Andy Reid to say, yep, that's the offensive coordinator. I also don't know that outside of Patrick Mahomes, why Cliff Kingsbury would want this job. Everywhere he's been, he's called plays. Let me tell you what he's not doing in Kansas City. I don't know who the next OC is. Mike Kafka, Eric Bieniemy, Cliff Kingsbury, Nathan Shieldhouse. I mean, there are a lot of names, a lot of options. Brian Dable, John Gruden. We can name a bunch of people who could be OC. I know what the next OC is not doing in Kansas City, calling plays. Andy Reid is not 60 whatever years old with that giant play sheet and all those Super Bowl rings in the twilight of his career, the last 3 to 5 years coaching, going to say, you know what? I've enjoyed calling plays for Brett Favre, Donovan McNabb, Patrick Mahomes, Alex Smith. I'm just going to stop doing that. I'm out. No longer into that side of the business. No chance he's giving that up. So I don't know that Cliff would want this job because he calls plays, and I don't know that that Kansas City and Andy Reid wants someone that calls plays because he wants that part of the job, which is why I think you usually find an Andy Reid disciple returning to the nest, so to speak. It's been Doug Peterson. It's been Matt Nagy twice. It's been Eric Bieniemy. I don't think they're going to shake it up and be like, ooh, it's time to get a guy who is totally different and is going to want to call plays. That would surprise me at an OC hire.
Let me ask you this. I'm happy we're having this conversation because I think this is a very good conversation. What if Cliff Kingsbury is their Jock Vaughn? Now, you know the Kansas power structure much better than I do, but I think it is very obvious. Bill's not doing the same stuff that he was 10 years ago. Bill physically is in a different place. Mentally, Bill talks about the end more than he ever has in his Kansas career, which makes sense given his age. Man, Andy Reid is 68 years old. I don't know if Andy has 5 more years of this thing left. He's maybe got 2 or 3 more years left. Like, do we think that Andy's coaching in the new stadium? 2031, do you think Andy Reid coaches a game in the new Chiefs stadium? I would say right now the money is on no. I don't think he's coaching a new game. That's 5 more seasons. I don't think he's doing that. So if that's the case, could you see a scenario in the Chiefs bring in a Cliff Kingsbury, somebody that Mahomes feels very comfortable with? Andy does start to transition some of the power away for himself to empower the Chiefs and set themselves up for what life after him looks like. You bring in Cliff Kingsbury. He has a little bit more responsibility, a little bit more play calling duty. Andy becomes a little bit more of a CEO, overseer type over everything. And in 3 years, you make the transition. So the offensive coordinator of the Chiefs, who has a great relationship with Patrick Mahomes, is now ready and stepped up, and now he's ready to be and get another chance as a head coach in the National Football League. That doesn't sound to me like a bad power structure. And if I'm Clark Hunt, you could definitely sell me on in 2.0 of Patrick Mahomes' career, you give me a proven offensive coordinator. There's no question about his ability to call plays and develop offense. He's done it now in multiple situations and helped develop multiple quarterbacks. What if that's the plan for the Chiefs moving forward?
I think it's a fine analogy, and it makes sense. The Bill Self to Andy Reid makes total sense to me. I think the major difference is Bill Self has talked about the end, and you said it there. Bill Self has talked about eventually not being the coach at Kansas, partly because of his health, whatever. I don't think it's this year or next year, but I think he sees it on the horizon. Andy Reid, every time he's asked about it, kind of nonchalant laughs it off, like, as long as they'll have me, I'll keep doing this. Maybe behind closed doors, Andy is having conversations about the end with, Brett Veach, Clark Hunt, whomever. He is not having those conversations out in the public the way Bill Self is. So I can only take Andy Reid from the public perception we get of him, which he doesn't feel like a guy who's at least energy-wise wanting to shut it down. So does he want to bring in a heir apparent type when if his entire coaching career, he's brought in the I oversee the offense and you report to me guy. So again, I think that's why it's a little different, Bill Self to Andy Reid. Bill Self talks about this openly. Andy Reid doesn't. I don't know what happens over at One Arrowhead Drive at 5 a.m. when he's having his coaches meetings with, the guys. Is he talking about the end? But public speaking, he always talks about, well, as long as they'll have me, I'll just keep doing it. So that doesn't sound like a guy who's nearing the end.
This is where I'll give Andy a little bit of credit, and I think we are discrediting Andy just a bit. I think Andy is somebody who clearly empowers people. Like, you don't have the reputation that you have in the league. You don't have the coaching tree that you have in the National Football League if you don't empower people. I just don't think that maybe he is as stubborn as we are saying in some of the commentary that I'm seeing on the text line. For example, to continue with the Kansas comparison and the analogy that we're going through, Kansas's offense is drastically different now than it was 10 years ago. Rob, you remember when we first started, Bill was about the high-low. You remember that? It was about having a really good 4-5, getting it to the high post, dumping it down, and Kansas had bigs. Basketball changed. So you know what that meant? Kansas had to change. Kansas was usually the program that would get the kids out of high school and have them stay for 3 years and grow and develop. And you've seen that Kansas, like other programs, have had to kind of shift on the fly. Greatness usually requires a shift and you staying modern and current and keeping up with the times. So at least for me, I don't know how you can have the track record that Andy Reid has and has had for the last 25 years in the National Football League and you not be open to new ideas. It just seems impossible to me to be in that position. So I'm not saying that now Andy is turning over everything and now just sitting back and kicking up his feet. But if Andy is the coach that I think he is and one of the 5 greatest coaches in the National Football League, there has to be a measure of self-evaluation that has to be going on inside that organization to see what they can do to get this thing around. And we talk a lot about how Travis doesn't want to end on this. You want to end like this if you're Andy Reid? You got fired from one place, and if you miss the playoffs this upcoming year, some of you will start to say that the game has passed Andy by and he needs to be fired. For everything that you've done for a city, you are 17 games away from people saying you should be fired from your current job and you're an old dinosaur. You got to be willing to listen, in my opinion, if you're Andy Reid. Coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to head out to Topeka and learn more about the stadium setup, both with the Chiefs and the Royals. Coming up on the other side, Rob, our first story of 2026. I'll tell you what it is. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for K-State athletics. 96.5, The Fan.
The NFL wildcard round is here, and FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Each game day during the wildcard round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. Pick the matchups you believe in. I'm starting to become a believer in this Jacksonville Jaguars team because Trevor Lawrence is playing some better football of late. I'll be playing them in the wildcard round. Take your shot on the upset or build a parlay that fits the moment. Then apply your profit boost and go for even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. FanDuel is an official sports betting partner of 96.5 The Fan. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This January, Fridays just got cooler, only at Harrah's Kansas City. Polar Patrol is making their rounds, and you can win $500 in free play. Just come out and play at any slot machine or table game for your chance to win $500 in free play. That's right, Fridays in January, the fun is on patrol and the prizes are ready to pop. So bundle up and head to Harrah's Kansas City where the good times keep flurrying. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The boats are back at Bartle Hall with 4 days of streaming deals on hundreds of boats at the KC Boat and Fishing Show, January 8th through the 11th.
Check out wake surf boats and pontoons, fishing boats, and luxury cruisers.
Enjoy nonstop entertainment, live stingrays, pro angler demos, and meet KC's Pitcher of the Year, Noah Cameron.
Get ready for fun in the sun at the Boat and Fishing Show, January 8th to the 11th at the Convention Center.
Pick up a free Thursday, Sunday ticket at Hy-Vee. Go to KCMoBoatShow.com for info.
Kids are free.
Prostate cancer. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed in their lifetime, but early detection can save lives. That's where KCUC comes in. They're the premier center for urology and oncology, with over 50 elite providers in more than 20 locations across the metro. KCUC makes it easy to get screened fast in the comfort of an office, not a hospital. Schedule your screening today at kcuc.com. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. kcuc.com. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon. Hello? You won't believe where I am. Are you running? Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture. And then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
$5,000, That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
When severe weather hits, tune in to 98.1 KMBZ for Operation Stormwatch. Brought to you by Century Roofing. Proudly voted the #1 roofing company in all of Kansas City. CenturyRoofingKC.com. Subscribe to 96.5 The Fan on YouTube to watch the show from wherever you are.
All right, now I want to give this disclaimer. I don't know if this story happened or not. I have absolutely no clue. But I do think that this is a situation that enough of us have been in the situation that seems very important to have the conversation. So, Rob, this was the story that was presented, and I didn't really feel like telling you I could just tell you the story. So you and I know, Rob, that if a group of girls goes out, most of the time, the place is going to let them in for free, right? Like, you want the baddies in there. You want the cute girls in there. You want to take care of them, give them a section, because that means more people are coming, you know? In this situation, Rob, the club let in some of the girls in the group, but told a couple of the other girls that they had to pay because they didn't fit whatever standards that it was. So the group was deciding whether or not they were going to split the amount of money that the club was going to charge the other two girls to pay to get into the club. The other two girls decided to not pay and just went back to the hotel to enjoy the rest of their day. Rob, this is my question to you. What do you do in this scenario? Because I think the male equivalent would be, have you ever been in a situation where one of your friends didn't have their ID? Have you been out before, and let's say it's you and a couple of guys, you and, a group of the homies, and you're trying to go into the establishment, and then Tim realizes that Tim left his wallet at home. What do you do in this scenario? Because I think you got to go by Wedding Crashers rule. There's no man left behind. If I go into this thing, we all are going into this thing. We're not going into a situation where three of us are going in. One of you has to now figure out what to do to pass the time. No, it's one for all and all for one. If I'm walking in this club, then we're all walking in this club. Have you ever found yourself in this situation?
I have not found myself in this situation. Okay. I will say, I have, but it's been a long time, not as an adult. In college, this came up a lot. You go out in college as like a group. Maybe like not one or two, it's like a wolf pack. You're like 8, 10 deep.
Yeah, for sure.
If we were all going to, I went to Kansas, so I'll use a Kansas bar. If we were all going to the wheel, it was not gonna be like, hey, we got room for 5 and 3 guys got to figure it out. Like, no, we got 8.
Yeah, we got 8 for sure.
We are coming in as a group of 8, or we are all waiting outside until a group of 8 can go in.
Let me ask you this question, though, because speaking of Kansas, we can now make it a sports-related thing. You definitely have been in a situation where there's 8 of you and there's only 5 spots in the GA. How are you? Are now none of you standing there to watch the game, or are you telling some people to go there and then the other part of the group has to now figure out where we're going to stand, where we're going to finesse, and how we're going to see some of this game? Because I imagine you've been in this situation too.
That's actually a great point, because I think we operated differently for different situations.
See?
When we're going to the Hawk, it's all for one for all. KU's playing Baylor on Big Monday. First 5 over here, they're getting the 5 tickets. That's how that's going to shake out. Hey, you want to sit in this section right behind the basket with us and be on ESPN? First 5 come down. Next 3, you can be up in the rafters up there watching this game. But I think for the go to the club analogy, it is all for one and one for all, which is why I am team go as a group, stay as a group. Especially, as an adult, you go to a bachelor party or a guy's weekend or a golf trip or something like that. You can't be operating like those 2 are going to do that, those 3 are going to do that. No, we are a unit. We are a collective.
Someone said, so how did the story with the girls end? That's how the story ended. The story ended of, at least how I heard the story on TikTok, there were 5 girls. 3 of the girls got into the club for free. It sounds like the other 2 girls were maybe a little heavier set. The club was going to then charge those girls to go into the club and then not charge the other girls. So the 2 girls just went home. The 2 girls just said,
that's bad work by those 3 girls.
100%.
Those 3 girls got to flex their muscle. Hey, if you want us 3, those 2 are coming too. It's not, well, sorry to those 2.
Crazy.
Sorry, Sally. Sorry, Jane. You guys are headed home, but we're headed in. You got to be like, you want us 3? You're bringing those 2 in with us, as opposed to, tough break. See you later. That's foul work by the girls.
I wouldn't even feel right knowing that my homegirl is now taking the Uber back to the hotel and I'm in here having a good time. Like that don't even feel right to me. No, not at all. I can't support that. Not at all. I do want to play this for you, and I only want to play this is because I have been asked so much about this clip over the last 2 days. People called my personal phone, not the text line. People called my personal phone that I know in real life, Carrington, what's going on? And I had to tell them all, I don't know. Now, Rob, I have not heard this Bob Fesco audio about Patrick Mahomes. I have been told about the audio regarding Patrick Mahomes from Bob Fesco, but I have not heard it from myself, so I don't know the tone. I don't know the context. I know that it's got some of you all ablaze. Now, I love Bob Fesco. On a personal level, I love him as a friend. He's also a colleague, so I can only say so much on that side, and I also have never heard the audio. Why don't we listen to it together, shall we?
Here's the thing also that I heard over the holiday. They better win fast. Otherwise, 15 will be asking for a trade.
Oh.
And you're going to be moving into a new stadium asking for PSLs. And if this team is not putting together the product that is necessary, I am told 15 will be asking for that trade. He is not going to sit here and watch this organization dissipate around him. The Kansas City Chiefs right now are in no position to allow this thing to dissipate. They may take a step back before they take a step forward in 27, but they're not playing with time on their side right now. It's not okay to go into a lull if you're the Chiefs and then say, oh, by the way, it's time to ante up for PSLs and tickets to a brand new stadium. They need to keep winning because if they don't, people will lose interest and they'll have a tough time marketing that new stadium.
I understand the dynamic of the station and the dynamic of our relationship. I'm not even saying that Bob didn't hear this, or I'm not saying any of that. I don't want none of that to get back because that's not in my heart right now. But no. There's no scenario in which Patrick Mahomes would come to me as the Kansas City Chiefs and say, hey, I'm unhappy here. Why don't you trade me? Get back to work. That's what I would tell. I'm not even listening to it. No. Pat, we've done everything for you over the last 10 years. You have the best contract in all of professional football. It's fully guaranteed. We will renegotiate it whenever you ask. We have accommodated everything for you. We've stood by you, stand by us. So, I mean, maybe that's even what has happened. Like maybe Mahomes is saying, hey, they better get right or I'm going to ask for a trade. Then I would just look Mahomes in the face and say, so no. No, we're not trading you. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to pout your way out of town? Of course not. So no, now that I've heard it in its context and not just reading it online or having other people tell me about the quote, my answer would be very simple. We're not trading you. Just because someone asks for something doesn't mean you got to give it to them. Some of you are parents. I mean, your kids ask for things. Do you automatically give it to them? What's the penalty when you say no? Hey, Mom, I want a new iPhone. No. Keep using the phone you got. No, I'm not trading Patrick Mahomes. There's no scenario in which I would trade a 30-year-old or 30-something-year-old Patrick Mahomes. So I don't need to spend too much time on this. I heard it. I've given my opinion. Oh, what do you think about? Now you know what I think. No, that's just no.
I agree with you. I also, now having heard it.
I hadn't heard it. This is my first time hearing it.
I heard it earlier today when I put it in the folder. But I saw it on, whatever those, Chiefs blogs are that have, like, the graphics. And people are, like, thinking this is an incendiary comment. It's really not. It would not surprise me if things get really bad in Kansas City, which I don't anticipate them happening. But as Bob said, if things really dissipate, Yeah, the star player might be upset that they're 4-13 every year. That's
sure.
a duh moment to me. Hey, if things are bad in 26, 27, 28, and 29, is Patrick Mahomes going to be happy? No. Like, Joe Burrow's probably not happy right now. You want to know why? They're losing. But exactly what you said. If Patrick Mahomes, after 4 bad seasons, came to me and said, hey, we stink, what are you going to do about it? Or trade me? I'd be like, here's what we're going to do about it. Go back to work. But I don't understand how this comment became such fodder on social media. Good player wants team to be good. Should not be this, can you believe so-and-so said that? We just saw a whole documentary a couple of summers ago where Michael Jordan was obsessed with winning and literally was more content to retire than be on a team that had to rebuild. I don't know why good player wants to be on good team. It was a shock to people.
We don't got to spend too much time on this. Patrick Mahomes is way too brand conscious to ask for a trade. Can you imagine, like, you guys love Patrick Mahomes unconditionally. Love Patrick Mahomes. Tomorrow, if Patrick Mahomes just randomly went up to one of you and said, you know what, I need your ACL, you'd give it to him. There's nothing Pat could ask you for that you wouldn't give to him. Can you imagine pissing a group of people off that have given you everything and just saying, hey, you guys stink now. I don't want to be on your team anymore. I cannot think of anything worse for the brand. I cannot think of it. If that happens, that place is going to be called 87 Prime. They can't even call it 15 no more. After that, no. I do not think that Patrick Mahomes at any point in his career is going to ask for a trade. Coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to go to the Kansas State Capitol, learn more about the stadium. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on Kansas City's only FM sports station, 96.5, The Fan.
At Casey's, when someone asked for a cup of coffee that wouldn't put them in debt, but still had freshly ground beans, rich flavor, and a price that starts with a 9 and ends with a D9 cents, we were too nice to say no. Any size darn good coffee, just 99 cents with Casey's Rewards. Limited time only. See store for details.
This afternoon, expect sunny skies with a high of 57.
Weather brought to you by Staples. 2026 is here, and at Staples, deals mean business. Like up to $100 off custom print orders. Head into the new year looking good for less. Staples. That was easy. Ends 131.
Hey, hockey fans. Now with BetMGM, you can win a share of $10,000 in bonus bets when your anytime goal scorer nets 3. Enter BetMGM's Hat Trick Jackpot all season long for your chance to win some major bonus bets. It's easy. Just log in and opt into the promotion. Then make an anytime score bet on any hockey game of at least $10. If your player of choice scores 3 goals instead of just 1, you'll win your share of the $10K in bonus bets. There's nothing quite like watching a game with a hat trick, especially when it means you can win a share of $10,000 in bonus bets. Ready to shoot your shot? Download the app today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards or bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CODE to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Men, it's the new year, and for many of us, it's a time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call Heartland Men's Health today, because there probably isn't a better resolution you can make than to be done with ED. You see, ED doesn't just affect you, it can also affect your partner, even if they don't talk about it. But here's some great news. If you're like most guys, the treatments at Heartland Men's Health will give you back your sex life. because our protocols have success rates that work in well over 90% of cases. Seriously, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So, make an appointment and get ED out of your life. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What if your instincts could pay off? With Robinhood Prediction Markets, you could put your knowledge to work on the events that matter to you. Prediction Markets isn't just sports. It's the Fed rate decision, your favorite award show, and so much more beyond the playing field. Trade events with Robinhood. Visit Robinhood.com/predict. That's Robinhood.com/predict. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at TheFan965 for behind-the-scenes videos like MVP Monday, Chiefs Take Tuesday, and Best Bets. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ, FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Really happy to be joined by our next guest. His name is Thomas Freestead. He is with the Kansas City Business Journal. Certainly a lot of things to talk about with Thomas. How you doing today, man? Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year as well, and thank you for the opportunity. No overstatement to say, yeah, a whole lot of stuff to talk about where the teams are concerned this year.
Do you have any New Year's resolutions?
I ideally dedicate coverage oxygen to literally anything else on the real estate and development side, in addition to the stadium stuff.
I'm currently trying to read a book. I'm reading Friday Night Lights, the book, and part of me, in the middle of reading, and I'm like, why can't I just turn on the television show? I already know all of this.
Yeah, that's fun. Reading more generally, work-related and otherwise as well. Great goal to shoot for.
So right now we're talking to Thomas Freestead. He's with the Kansas City Business Journal. Certainly a lot to ask him about and get his opinion on. So let's start with this. There's been a lot of conversation about the deal between the Chiefs and Kansas. I guess let's just start with this. What do you make of the deal? Do you think this is a good deal for the residents of the state of Kansas?
Everyone kind of consuming the story is going to have to draw their own conclusions as to whether it is a good deal in terms of being a good deal for Kansas, what they ought to pursue. Is it a workable deal? Is it a functional one? That's kind of where my reporting comes into play. And so over the last year and a half of covering the stadium story, I never really took for granted that a new Kansas stadium, a dome stadium, was something that the Chiefs might pursue. It was always just, what is the Star Bond district going to be? Within what area of Metro Kansas will future sales taxes be captured to repay stadium bonds? And it was our coverage where we put out the rough estimate based on the state's map of 293 square miles. That's what we are currently working off as a baseline and waiting for the parties involved to hone that further.
I've seen the map that is drawn up by this. It seems like a pretty big area. What do you make of of the early proposal of what the Star Bond district is going to look like?
Well, it stood out in that it was a little bit validating from the standpoint of, I think there might have been a misconception from some sort of loosely following stadium goings on that it was only going to be the stadium and perhaps surrounding mixed uses from which sales taxes were captured. And when you look at the multi-billion-dollar magnitude of these projects, that was never going to be the case. It was just how big did the district have to be. And so the day after that map got put out, what I was able to do, I pulled up the map in one internet tab. I pulled up municipal maps for all of the Metro Kansas cities in the other. And this is something you can do at home. You can type in the boundaries for Kansas City, Kansas, for Edwardsville, for Bonner Springs, Olathe, et cetera, and see kind of how they comport with the outlines of what that map is. It's all of those cities smushed together is what the 293 square miles is, minus existing Star Bond districts from which sales taxes would not be captured.
Right now, we're talking to Thomas Freestad. He is with the Kansas City Business Journal, talking to him about the deal between the Chiefs and the state of Kansas. At least my perception of this, Thomas, and I'm curious, is you're right that people are allowed to form their own conclusion about whether or not they think the deal is a good deal or a bad deal. But I also think like there is a measure of just acceptance with how American cities work. It might not be fair, and sure, in an ideal world, these billion-dollar teams will pay for their own stadium. They keep the resources. They do all that. You pay for it. That all makes sense to me. But this is also the cost to me of doing business. And if you're a state like Kansas and you want to lure a team away from a state like Missouri, then you got to offer up a sweet deal. And that is exactly what Kansas did here. I think Kansas set out with a goal. They were going to do whatever it took to get the Chiefs, and it looks like they succeeded in that goal.
I think it's a fair outline, and this is not an issue where I personally opine on it all that much. I will say sort of the framework that I have used to look at this is, you're right. It is the cost of doing business, so to speak, that public dollars are often offered to keep or attract sports teams to this city or that city. It then just becomes a question, if that is accepted as kind of the ground rules at large, what is an acceptable amount? What is the ceiling of incentive money that ought to be offered in the context of these stadium deals? Because, a question that I've been wondering over the course of these proceedings, and to the extent I was maybe thinking the Chiefs might more seriously consider renovating Arrowhead, Kansas's offer always was going to be the larger dollar value offer in this conversation, just based on how the star bonds work. And yet it wasn't until last month that they said, we're going to not renovate Arrowhead, we're going to build a new.
Right now, we're learning a little bit more about the stadium issue with Thomas Freestad. He covers the business side of things with the Kansas City Business Journal. Do you see any flaws in this plan? Because at least the way the Missouri side, we had a couple of politicians on last week, is they just don't really trust the mechanics of it and the economics of it. I think we all know what the positive benefits of the star bond is. What are some of the negatives, and could you see maybe this not working as ideal as people think it could?
There's questions to raise on it in terms of how it'll function, and then in terms of just whether this is healthy for the state. In terms of the latter, what this effectively will do is capture future sales taxes from within whatever the ultimate star bond district is. And it is somewhat said out of the state that, these are dollars resulting from having the Chiefs in Kansas. But the way an economist put it to me that I thought was pretty neat and salient was, people are still going to buy Chipotle burritos. They're still going to shop for T-shirts, still going to buy lawnmowers in Johnson County, even if they're not going to Chiefs games. That all is happening within fast-growing Johnson County, independent of the Chiefs. All of that money still will go to the stadium bonds, and, for better or worse, that's what people will have to decide. In terms of the functionality of the program, nothing like this has ever been attempted through the Star Bond program. In our reporting from state audits in past years, 20-plus previous Star Bond projects are cumulatively outweighed by just what would go to the stadium alone here, $1.8 billion, to say nothing of potential additional bonds that could go to auxiliary mixed-use development, which is where you get up to $2.775 billion in Star Bonds. Very real questions around that.
Thomas, what do you make of, Senator Dan Hawkins coming out and saying that the deadline is passed for the Royals if they want to hop on the star bonds? What do you make of his comments?
I've been following sort of what Kansas lawmakers have been saying around that reasonably closely, and that you've kind of had these parallel deadlines here. You've had the end of the year soft deadline. Kansas lawmakers say we will not consider stadium proposals past that point. Of course, it is on the books until June 30th. They could always just reverse course and say, you know what, we think the Royals would be a really great deal at, say, 1/19 and null as well. So we're going to maybe walk that back. And I will also say within the conversation, there's whether the Royals have the ability to use the enhanced star bonds versus whether they physically can build a stadium in Kansas. They could build it yesterday if there was a will and a way, and they theoretically still could qualify for regular star bonds, which are targeted towards tourism boosting projects. It would just not be the enhanced stadium variety that they would be able to qualify for if the state held true to its word.
Yeah, a lot of it feels like it's kind of semantics in that regards. This is how we opened up the show, that Kansas is 35th in the state when it comes to population. And I just find it hard to believe. And none of the states that are behind Kansas in terms of population have a professional sports team. I just find it hard to believe that the Royals would go to the state of Kansas, suggest that we want to be there, and Kansas wouldn't do everything in its power to make it work. So you're right. Maybe they're not under the same mechanism as the Chiefs. They don't have the same leveraging power. But having a professional baseball team anywhere in the state of Kansas is such a win that it is for everybody on the politician side to try to make that financially feasible for everybody.
I will say, if you're looking at how a star bond would work with relation to the Royals versus the Chiefs, the program is almost better suited to fund a baseball stadium in that if you're trying to capture economic activity from a district, baseball having 81 games plus whatever concerts or surrounding activity there is versus like I think 8 or 9 Chiefs games per year versus how many concerts. Like you will just generate more recurring traffic, presumably around a ballpark versus a football stadium.
Right now, we're talking to Thomas Freestad for a couple more minutes here. He's with the Kansas City Business Journal. I know you're more of a reporter and maybe don't dive into the opinion side of things, but when this thing settles, when all the dust settles, where do you think the Royals are going to land?
I'm out of the prediction business, Carrington. Just like I've been at this now. We've done the timeline of it. It has now been over 4 years since I think the first open letter from CEO John Sherman talking about potential future stadium sites. The way I look at it now, I don't have a dog in the fight, but every individual site you can point to has disparate pros and cons. You know, it's been said maybe downtown's Washington Square Park is like the perfect urban setting, but it's also a tight site. You wouldn't be able to have a Battery-esque mixed-use district around it. You'd have to buy parcels non-contiguous to the stadium. North Kansas City has a lot of development acreage, but it might rely on a county-wide new sales tax. And then 119th and Null, they control by way of the mortgage purchase out there at the Aspiria campus. But it seems as though, candidly, everyone and their mother has a reason to not love that site. I think that would be a major uphill battle if they were to attempt to go there.
Yeah, that part to me, I don't know if it surprised me in the least bit, but I mean, no one really around the stadium has kind of wrapped their arms around the idea of that's where the stadium has been. I feel like of all the ideas, and maybe this is saying this on the Kansas side because there was certainly a lot of pushback to the idea of putting it in the Crossroads district, but there has been a lot of pushback toward the Royals moving to 119th and all.
Yeah, and maybe it comes with the territory when you sort of start to explore a, shall we say, non-conventional stadium site like that. I assume behind closed doors there is at least some vision there that, you know, whether or not everybody likes it, that could be put forward if that were their chosen direction. I think everyone's just waiting to see what is the chosen direction, what more information do the Royals look to have before they come forward and say, this is our preferred path forward.
Well, let me ask you this here, and I'm with you. You're not in the prediction business. I completely understand. Can you tell us how it would work downtown? Because you just mentioned it. There are pros and cons associated with all of these suggestions. I've said that I think there's only one place in the city that will unify the city. You just mentioned all the opposition towards putting on 119th and all. As somebody who lives in Jackson County, I mean, I'm lukewarm about the North Kansas City idea, but sure, if that's where they move, I'll obviously support it. But you could really sell the vision of downtown baseball, especially with the good plan. From a business side, can you tell us how this would work if the Royals tomorrow say, we want to move downtown?
I guess it would depend on their chosen site downtown. The city has concentrated a good amount on Washington Square Park, but I know 18th and Vine has been part of the conversation. And last week I spoke with Mayor Quentin Lucas. I specifically asked, is there anything ruling out if the team ever were to want to go back and look at the East Village, their original choice in downtown? Is there anything that would preclude that? And he said, no, at least not on the city side. So like, it honestly depends on where they want to go and what level of public incentive participation they perceive as necessary to move forward.
Maybe that's just the idea that they sold us for the longest, so I think that's the one that people would get behind. But I'm still not sure how we spent most of my childhood talking about the East Village, and then one day they just woke up and said we want to put a stadium in the Crossroads. Like, they could very easily sell me the entire East Village idea. I'm not sure why that idea died on the vine, so to speak.
It was raised at the city level, at least in part, that there was the potential for competition with the Kansas City Power and Light District, which costs the city in bond shortfalls each year. Also, some question as to I think so the presence of government buildings in the area, what infrastructure changes would be needed. I mean, I'm sort of the mindset, like, you can make a stadium site work most anywhere if you have a vision and kind of the will to pull it off. You're willing to circumvent whatever challenges there may be. It's just how do you move forward with that?
That is Thomas Freestad joining us on the show. He's with the Kansas City Business Journal covering all things stadium. Thomas, we look forward to having you on again as the story continues to develop. Really appreciate your time, and Happy New Year.
Yeah, likewise. We'll see what predictions I have next.
Absolutely. That is Thomas Freestad joining us on the show. A lot of really interesting stuff. Why don't we do this? We'll step aside. We'll kind of put a bow on this stadium conversation. I also want to get to a conversation about the Kansas City Chiefs. I am afraid that one of their players is just going to get a pass for the entire season. We'll talk about it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
This new year, get started on your next success with University of Maryland Global Campus. Apply by February 11th and get your application fee waived. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid classes, along with more than 135 degrees and certificates in fields like business, cybersecurity, healthcare, and more. Gain the skills you need to achieve your career goals. Get your application fee waived through February 11th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The NFL wildcard round is here, and FanDuel's turning on playoff mode. All customers get a Profit Boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Each game day during the wildcard round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple Profit Boosts waiting for you in the app. You can pick the matchup you believe in. Can Drake May and the Patriots get it done at home? Take your shot on an upset or build a parlay that fits the moment. Then apply your Profit Boost and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your Profit Boost pack every NFL playoff game day. FanDuel is an official sports betting partner of 96.5 The Fan. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable Profit Boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Check the back seat. Check the back seat.
Gets in your head, right? Good, because every year dozens of children are forgotten in the back seat. Cars get hot fast and can be deadly, so get it in your head. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
I wish I'd gotten treated for my erectile dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today and stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition, and it's fully treatable. And at Heartland Men's Health, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. Which means if you're like most guys, your ED will be a thing of the past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at Heartland Men's Health. Your initial visit is only $99. It includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Report brought to you by Miva Medical. Relief for knee pain, enlarged prostate, and uterine fibroids. MivaMedical.com.
Start the new year feeling comfortable. Men, if frequent bathroom trips are slowing you down, it could be an enlarged prostate. Jeff Montgomery here. I stopped putting it off and contacted Dr. Brown at Miva Medical. The non-surgical treatment was quick and covered by insurance. Contact Miva Medical, MIVA-medical.com.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
You've got a fender bender off to the right shoulder blocking part of the right lane, 635 northbound just past K5 south. And then Pleasant Valley, part of the right lane blocked there, 35 northbound at 69. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Rashi Rice from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, I want to put a bow on the stadium conversation. We don't got to spend a whole lot of time on it, and then we'll move to a Chiefs conversation. I thought Thomas Freestad, and shout out to him for coming on the show, I thought he said something very interesting, which I think it's hard to deny. There are positives for every one of the stadium ideas that are out there. There are cons for all of the stadium ideas. Rob, now maybe this is me hating, and I can admit that. Is there really a pro for the 119th and all other than it's close to where we perceive to be their season ticket base? Is there any other pro for that location? Is there something else that I am missing? Because to me, if the Chiefs move to Kansas, it is them saying, we know we have an attendance issue, and we think the best way to fix our attendance issue is be in the middle of the population of the people that buy the most tickets. I don't really think there's another positive to the 119th and all. It's not in a great location. You're going to have to do some massive sort of traffic infrastructure issues. The community around it doesn't really want it. There are not a whole lot of positives to me for the 119th and all site.
And you're talking about from the actual location point, not things like I don't think it requires a vote, which I think is important to the Royals. That I don't say it's not a positive for me and you, but if I'm John Sherman, I think it's a pro.
That is a pro.
No vote.
I guess another pro for them would be, and I guess this was the second half of what I was going to say, is the downtown stadium idea really comes down to how hellbent are the Chiefs in having a ballpark village. Do the Chiefs want a new stadium, or the Royals? Do the Royals want a new stadium, or do they want a new ballpark village and a stadium? Because if they're just interested in buying a stadium, then you can 100% find the places for it to go downtown. But I think you heard Thomas say it. Man, the only reason why the East Village idea doesn't work is Power and Light doesn't want a competing entertainment district right around the corner, because they already struggle to get people to go down there. Can you imagine now, a couple of blocks away, there is a very popular entertainment district that has a built-in, basically, concert, the way that the Sprint Center does. You get concerts, you get shows, so you get people going to McFadden's and Pizza Bar and all of the places around it. Man, the Royal Stadium would have something 81 days a year guaranteed, and then they always have other stuff that's going on out there. I mean, if the Royals get a brand new stadium, they're going to have outdoor concerts. The Royals have shown you they're maybe not the Chiefs. They're not going to have the Taylor Swift, the big events, But the Royals are definitely going to use their stadium much more for a concert event space. You get the Savannah Bananas. You get certain shows and things that go out there, certain unique outdoor experiences that you can only have with the baseball stadium that seats 40,000 people. Do the Royals just want to build a stadium, or do the Royals want a stadium and all of the other things to basically copy the St. Louis and Atlanta model with their stadiums?
I think that's been the $1 billion question, because I think since the vote failed, the story has kind of been the Royals are looking at spots where they put the side dishes away. Like, for an example, like they've all the locations they've talked about are just the entree. They haven't talked about sides in that regard. At first it was Crossroads Entertainment District, when you got the renderings where you cross the highway and you get entertainment district, hotels, shops, stadium. Man, none of the discussion reporting ever since the vote failed has been this everything. Because even 119th and all, which I'm not the world's biggest proponent of, you're not really building an entertainment center there because Town Center already exists and it's kind of right there that you're competing with in some regard.
I guess they just build a bigger extension of Town Center.
Probably.
Just because they're going to have more. I mean,
Washington Square Park has Crown Center right there.
100%.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing. Like, I feel like the reporting around the idea of this entertainment district has kind of fizzled a little bit. Now, John Sherman does talk about loving the Battery. The Battery has a little bit of everything in Atlanta. But
I feel like every team is now trying to chase what Atlanta has. Which Atlanta, I think to their credit, at least in this conversation, is they moved out of the city and then moved to the suburbs where there's just more space. That's what happened. And they just have a bigger population. More people live in the Atlanta area than live in the Kansas City, Missouri metro area. That's also very important. Someone on the text line says, CDOT, why wouldn't the Royals just use Power and Light? They tried that idea, got voted down. They tried that idea.
Pretty emphatically.
They tried that idea. The proposed stadium idea was not going to be that far from Power and Light. They were trying to incorporate Power and Light into their plan. The city said, no, keep trying. That's what the city said. The city said, keep trying when it comes there. You guys know my stance. I want the Royals to be in downtown Kansas City. I think that is by far and away the best possible landing space for them.
I actually think the answer is East Village.
I agree.
I think it was the mayor. I'm trying to find the tweet. I think the mayor recently tweeted out that East Village is, back on the market. Like, if East Village is back on the market, and the reporting, which we just heard Thomas Freestad say, originally that kind of died because they had to protect Power and Light. But if East Village is a legitimate option, it is a layup. It's a dunk. It's where everyone has always wanted the stadium.
That's an idea that you could very easily sell to the public.
I think it would pass a vote. I think no Chiefs would also help the vote no matter where you put it. But East Village feels like the spot where, when this whole thing started in 4 or 5 years ago, when John Sherman was talking to Andy Rogers out in Surprise and said his vision is downtown baseball, I think everyone envisioned in their head East Village because it made the most sense. And now, 5 years later, if you can circle back and get that location, that's a win for the Royals and the city. So I agree, like, Washington Square Park would work, but if we're going to name, like, the ideal perfect location, and the mayor is tweeting this is back on the market, go put the stadium there. That makes the most sense for everyone. It checks every box.
I want to play this audio for you guys, and then we'll get to the Chiefs. Here's what Thomas Freestad had to say. He's with the Kansas Business Journal. Here he is talking about the pros and cons for the proposed stadium ideas.
The way I look at it now, I don't have a dog in the fight, but every individual site you can point to has disparate pros and cons. It's been said maybe downtown's Washington Square Park is like the perfect urban setting, but it's also a tight site. You wouldn't be able to have a Battery-esque mixed-use district around it. You'd have to buy parcels non-contiguous to the stadium. North Kansas City has a lot of development acreage, but if it might rely on a county-wide new sales tax. And then 119th and all, they control by way of the mortgage purchase out there at the Superior campus. But it seems as though, candidly, everyone and their mother has a reason to not love that site. I think that would be a major uphill battle if they were to attempt to go there.
I don't mean this as a slight towards Thomas Freestad. I hope he doesn't take this as that. I've never heard anybody say everybody and their mother. I heard the other way of saying it, everybody and their mama. Never heard everybody and their mother. That might be a two Americans
wait.
thing.
You've never heard everyone and their mother?
Everybody and their mother. I normally hear it with a little bit more flavor than that.
No. I've heard everyone and their mother.
Everybody and their mother. No, everybody and their mama. That's what I've heard. I didn't know. It caught me off guard there.
The term everyone and their mother 100% wants the stadium on 119th and Knoll.
For sure.
That's how that location works. That's how that saying works. Everyone and their mama is like Mandarin to me. I've never heard that before in my life.
Everybody and their mama, that's the 18th and Vine idea they're floating out there. Everybody and their mama want it down there. At least that's what I'm hearing. All right, let's move on to the Chiefs. I'm not going to beat you over the head with the stadium all day. This maybe is an unpopular Kansas City Chiefs opinion, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I think you guys are giving Xavier Worthy a free pass for how he performed this year. You guys know in a football game, I always hate when there's this gray area where the offensive player can't fumble the ball. You know what I'm talking about, right? They call it a football move. You got to catch the ball, turn, spin, take 2 feet, do a dance. And when the defensive player knocks it out of your hand, we just call it incomplete. Like, wait, hold on. Like, we're not going to credit the defensive player for making a good play. The guy clearly caught the ball. He has possession of the ball. He got the ball knocked out of his hand. That is a fumble. I hate that we have created these gray areas, and that's what I think we're doing with Xavier Worthy. Rob, this season, Xavier Worthy 100 less snaps than last year. We're not talking about a significant amount of time. We're basically talking about 2 games. Played 2 games than what he did in 2024. He had an awful season this year. Where I feel like the free pass comes from, if Xavier Worthy had played really well, we'd be talking about how he played through the injury and how he played through toughness and how this was a banner year for Xavier Worthy. But now that he struggled, it's now like we don't want to talk about the struggles, and now the struggles don't count because he shouldn't have been playing anyway. Like, he basically just got a free roll to go out there this season, underperform, and now no one's going to count it against him. This is also why I think it's a little bit unfair for Xavier Worthy and why I'm not giving him maybe all of the protection that you guys, I think, are going to give him this summer. He was practicing and playing in all of the preseason games. When this team was done, when it was over, if Xavier Worthy had been hurt the entire season, you could have very easily sold me. One of the first people to sit down was Xavier Worthy, that he was trying to play through the injury. He wasn't fully healthy. You were going to sit him down, have whatever surgery you felt like he needed so he could get back out there. If Xavier Worthy was hurt, tell me why he played in the Tennessee game. Why did he play in the Broncos game? That was a super preseason game. Even in the last game of the season against Las Vegas, he was not on the injured list because of a shoulder or a foot injury or an ankle injury. He was on the injured list because he was sick. Now, maybe you think the Chiefs are just lying about his injury, which is a violation and worth a fine. But if you are on the side of, well, Xavier Worthy, you guys are too hard on him because he was hurt, you got to explain to me then why he was playing in the Tennessee and the Denver game when the Chiefs started sitting down everybody at that point. Rice was done. McDuffie was done. Mahomes was done. The Chiefs started going around. Hey, are you hurt? If you're hurt, come here. And you sit down. Trey Smith was done. Why is Xavier Worthy still out there the last 2 games of the season? I can't do anything with that. Those games don't count. Xavier Worthy was one of their more disappointing players this year. He played in 14 games and played in 700 snaps this year. We can't make it seem like Xavier Worthy wasn't on the field this year. And to have a season where he had 42 catches for 500 yards and 1 touchdown, I'm sorry. This summer, whenever I'm talking about Xavier Worthy, I'm not going to give him every single he was hurt protection like I feel like the conversation's going to be.
Let me ask you this, and maybe this is me making excuses for Xavier Worthy, and I'm not using the injury here, but I have this question about him. Is this a fair defense of him? Some of his lore, some of his thoughts where he's going to be the deep ball guy. Patrick Mahomes basically didn't hit deep balls this year. I don't know if that's Worthy. I don't know if it's Mahomes. I don't know what it is.
But they haven't done that. I'm sorry to cut you off, though, but this is where, to me, it's not fair. You got to explain to me how Patrick Mahomes looked like he had more synergy down the field with Tyquan Thornton than it looked like he had with Xavier Worthy. Tyquan Thornton was a guy who was on the outskirts of being kicked out of the league. The New England Patriots 2 years ago told Tyquan Thornton, you're not good enough to play in our wide receiver room. They fired him. He was on the Chiefs practice squad last year. Anybody could have picked up Tyquan Thornton. He instantly looked like he had better chemistry down the field with Patrick Mahomes than Xavier Worthy is. So I hear you if we were talking about that in the first couple of games. Man, we have seen now 31 games of Xavier Worthy's career. 31 games. They've never been good at the deep ball when it comes to Xavier Worthy. Some of that is on him. Some of that is on field awareness. Some of that is how he runs his routes. I'm not saying it's all on him. And Mahomes certainly has some accuracy issues that has missed on some big throws. But it's not like they shoot 50% when it comes to Xavier Worthy. They're like 1 of 11 down the field with Xavier Worthy. And one of the throws is early in his career against the Chargers, and the other one is in a Super Bowl game in which it was 31-9 heading into the fourth quarter.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it is sounding, or the way it hitting my ear, is you're describing Xavier Worthy as maybe not full-on, full-fledged, but he definitely is on a McCole Hardman trek. Because I remember we were doing the show, 2019, McCole Hardman had a really good rookie, a really good relative. He had a good rookie season. He was explosive when he played. He had 41 targets, 26 catches, 550 yards. Everyone thought during that COVID season, oh, McCole's about to take off running. He basically had the exact same season over again. He then had like a 675 season, which was good, but he never hit that next level. It sounds like you are projecting out that Worthy, based on his first 2 years, is more McCole Hardman than he is someone else.
You want me to give you the stats between the two?
I
got them right here in
the
their first 2 years. You want me to give you the stats?
I'm very excited for the stats.
McCole Hardman. Write this down. Go and grab a sheet of paper. Go and write this down. Everybody, grab some paper. McCole Hardman's first 2 years in the league, he had 67 catches for 103 targets. He had 1,098 yards and 10 touchdowns. Those are the first 2 years of McCole Hardman's career. The first 2 years for Xavier Worthy, he had 101 catches for 171 targets, 1,170 yards, and 7 touchdowns. They are not that far off in terms of production, what they've done the first 2 years. Not at all. Now, I think Xavier Worthy is a better player than McCole Hardman. Don't get me wrong here. But you and I remember the conversations people were having about McCole Hardman at the end of that second season heading into that third year. And I'm telling you, I know you guys. I know you guys so well. In June, when we talk about him, the overwhelming text line sentiment is going to be, oh, you guys can't say that. He was hurt all year. He wasn't hurt all year. He played in 65% of their offensive snaps. He played in 14 games this year. Xavier Worthy was healthy enough to be out there. He was healthy enough to be out there on the road against the Tennessee Titans when their season was completely over. He was healthy enough to be out there on the field on the Christmas Day game when, again, their season was completely over. I'm not giving Xavier Worthy, oh, he was hurt, so this year doesn't count. I'm not doing that. And that's why yesterday when we were talking about this, or talking about their coaching staff, they got to bring in a real wide receiver coach to get the most out of Xavier Worthy. Because if you're telling me what you're saying, Rob, he's not going to be big play down the field, chunk play guy, you wasted a first-round pick. He's a $180 soaking wet. He has to be that guy. He has to be big play. You know he's got to be Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce this season was big play down the field kind of receiver guy. That's the kind of player that you are hoping that Xavier Worthy can turn out to. Alec Pierce did not have some magical season. Rob, he had 47 catches this year, Alec Pierce did. He had 47 catches for 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. You know what Alec Pierce has been these last 2 years? Big play receiver. He averaged 22 yards a catch in 2024. He averaged 21 yards a catch in 2025. Patrick Mahomes hasn't had that kind of weapon since Tyreek Hill was in town. That's what they need Xavier Worthy to be. And if you didn't know much about Xavier Worthy, if you were just looking at the numbers, he is a very regular weapon. He is not a big-time, big play, splash play kind of guy. He's not even first 2 years McCole Hardman if we're talking about big plays. McCole averaged 16 yards a catch those first 2 seasons. Xavier Worthy's averaging 11 yards a catch those first 2 years in the league. McCole's been a bigger play guy than what we've seen Xavier Worthy be so far.
Let me ask you this then, and maybe this is a little unfair by me. Are we peeling those same protections off for Rashee Rice for his season this year? Because I would say I don't have his stats in front of me.
You already know how I feel about him.
He underwhelmed based on expectations.
Agreed.
Now, I think the
100%.
expectations for him were very lofty from fans.
Trust me, my feelings on Xavier Worthy are not to remove any criticism for Rashee Rice. Not at all. He's also in the same conversation as well. 100%.
Because I feel like what you're saying about Xavier Worthy could kind of be applied to Rashee Rice. If not, the reason he missed games was 100% more his fault. Like, Xavier Worthy did miss a game because he got ran into on the first play. Like, that happened. Rashee Rice missed games because of himself. He has no one to blame but himself for why he missed games. So I will join you arm in arm in, hey, let's take the protections off the wide receivers. They need more this offseason. We might be fighting the good fight against everyone else, against the angry horde. You know, that gif from Game of Thrones where the one guy has the sword, he's about to take on the hordes. But what you're saying about Xavier Worthy is how I feel about Rashee Rice too.
Someone on the text line says, C-Dot, why do you think he can't be Devontae Smith? I mean this seriously. The one player that I don't think the text line really understands how good he is Devontae Smith, which maybe it's because he won his Heisman Trophy during the COVID season, and that's like turning like a lost college football year. I just think people are underestimating how good of a receiver Devontae Smith is and was. And Xavier Worthy is not close to the kind of player that Devontae Smith was. Like, not at all. Remember, we did the same conversation with Rashee Rice. Like, Devontae Smith is very, very good. Very, very good. So, I don't think that Xavier Worthy is going to be Devontae Smith. I think Devontae Smith is an elite, premium route runner and has shown an ability at every single level to get open and create space. And that is not what Xavier Worthy has shown, at least not in the NFL. He's not shown that level of ability of consistently being able to get open and make plays, at least not like Devontae Smith. Coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to be joined by Matt Tate. Rob is excited that Darren Peterson is going to play today. We'll talk about it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
The NFL wildcard round is here, and FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Each game day during the wildcard round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. Pick the matchups you believe in. I'm starting to become a believer in this Jacksonville Jaguars team because Trevor Lawrence is playing some better football of late. I'll be playing them in the wildcard round. Take your shot on the upset or build a parlay that fits the moment. Then apply your profit boost and go for even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. FanDuel is an official sports betting partner of 96.5 The Fan. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
So, you're ready to propose, huh?
Yeah, man. She's definitely the one.
What are we thinking about the ring? I got my wife's at Hellsberg. I couldn't recommend a better jeweler.
I could use some help with that.
Man, go to Hellsberg. I had no idea how many details you need to consider. Did you know you can get a natural or lab-grown diamond? I didn't. Figure out what she wants. Trust me, they'll make it happen.
Start your story with Hellsberg. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
So the body knows that it needs to heal itself, but it doesn't know how to concentrate it and target it into just one area. So that's where we come in.
By we, Dr. Ashley Caravelli means the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, QC Kinetics.
We put in those treatments, then it sends out like little signalers to your body. We're able to make the body focus on the areas that need the most healing.
QC Kinetics has gathered brilliant medical minds like Dr. Caravelli and Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a pioneer in the field of regenerative medicine, to lead the way in these innovative pain treatments.
So at QC Kinetics, we have a whole team working nationwide with cutting-edge research to reach our patients and treat them and know that surgery is no longer their only option.
The consultation is free. Find out if you're a candidate. Call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less.
So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
What's up, everybody? I'm Nick Costos, and watching sports isn't a hobby, it's a lifestyle. And my show is not a job, it's a passion. From the NFL playoffs to the NBA and everything in between, celebrate sports with me every day on You Better You Bet from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. Download the Odyssey app now and listen to Westwood One Sports from anywhere. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos, live and interactive Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern, presented by BetMGM.
Ready to kick off the fun? Chumba Casino is your go-to game plan during halftime or overtime. From spinning slots to instant scratch-style cards, it's like running the perfect play, all from home. New players score a free welcome bonus and daily logins with a shot at some serious prizes every time you play. Get in the game and visit ChumbaCasino.com today. Let's Chumba. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Car wreck? Get the money you deserve. Mike's got this.
Paid for client betrayal and endorsement. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Give me one good reason why I should call DM Law.
How about 3 great reasons? 1, it's easy. 2, it's fast. 3, the results.
Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Slow in the area at the split to problems. 35 northbound just past 635. That is a stall in the right lane. And then 635 southbound at Miriam. Right lane is blocked there. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome to your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
No one on the text line has still answered this question. And I'm not even asking it in a combative way. If you were telling me that Xavier Worthy was hurt all season, I am willing to listen to that. I really am. I'm willing to listen. But you have to then explain to me how he was hurt all year and then played in the most meaningless games of the season and was healthy. The Chiefs, if Xavier Worthy was hurt, the Chiefs had a chance to sit him out and say that he was hurt and immediately make him go get surgery. Immediately, and have him 100% back and ready for the games that really, really matter. If you were hurt, there was no reason for you to play in the Tennessee game. You were completely eliminated from the postseason, and you were playing one of the worst teams in the league. It was not a home game. It doesn't mean anything. We're just going out here playing football because that's our job. Now, I understand that football requires you to play through some measure of pain, but if Xavier Worthy was hurt, it is organizational malpractice why he was out there for the Tennessee Titans game and the Broncos game, and why he was out for the Raiders game, not because of an injury, but because he was sick. They had him on there for illness, not because of an ankle, not because of a back injury. He was a full participant in practice for the final 3 months of the season. He played in 14 games. I'm sorry, I just can't give him this year doesn't count because you were hurt. Not when you had 500 yards. Not when you scored 1 touchdown this season. Like, part of why this season went so poorly is because Xavier Worthy did not develop as an offensive player. And their wide receiver their offense cooked the Raiders and the Commanders, and that was it. Then their offense was very normal. Everyone was ready for what the Chiefs were about to do after that point. So I told you guys, I want the Chiefs to go get a big body receiver. No more of these 5'10", 170-pound, 4.3 combine guys. No, they need a 6'3", 215-pound. They need an Alec Pierce. They need a big physical receiver is what they need. And that guy is just not currently on their roster. Nate Taylor was on the station earlier today, and he was asked what a Trent McDuffie trade could get the Chiefs back.
I love Trent McDuffie, man. Not a problem in the locker room. Not a head case. Obviously team friendly. Can play multiple positions, which is definitely necessary in Steve Spagnuolo's complex scheme. Can blitz, can cover. You would like for him to have better ball skills in terms of generating turnovers, but that's the trade-off you made when you drafted him, right?
It's the entire secondary's problem.
You could also argue that too. So, yeah, I know that it's going to be difficult for the Chiefs to get proper value for McDuffie. And so, again, is it a first and a second? Is it a first and a third? Okay, well.
It's the second in 2027, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and are you comfortable with that? And if you make that move, do you then pivot back to Watson, or do you do what you've always done, which is go in the draft and develop somebody else, that we don't know yet? I mean, those are all very capable, but I mean, Jalen Watson played a ton of snaps this year. He's a 7th round pick. You have to advise him to get paid. You have to. And so if the Chiefs are not able to do that, then, hey, you could stick with Trent McDuffie for another year, understanding that you still have the 5th-year option as a trading chip as well.
I don't mean this as shade, and I love Trent McDuffie. If you're a team, would you trade a 1 for Trent McDuffie? If I'm a team right now, and it's not just a draft pick, it is also turning around, and after giving up a first-round pick, I now have to make him top 3 highest paid corner in the league. I love Trent McDuffie, friend of the show. We can be honest about what his limitations are. And if you aren't 100% sure that on the outside he can guard the true number 1s of the league, am I going to make a trade to get a first round pick? Let's say I'm Chicago. They're in the playoffs. There's a relationship between the Chiefs and the Bears. Brian Poles, there's some synergy there. They've done deals in the past. If you are Chicago, would you call up the Chiefs right now and offer up the 25th overall pick for Trent McDuffie? Because some of these teams, if you're the Chiefs, you're not trading them to the Chargers, who we're going to pick in the 20s. You're not trading them to New England. You're not trading them to Denver. We're kind of getting to the point where there aren't a whole lot of teams that you even think are in the conversation of teams that you would trade them to. As good as I think Trent McDuffie is, if I'm Miami, I'm not trading the 11th overall pick for Trent McDuffie. So now that we have a little bit of an idea, you kind of got to start to make a decision is he even worth the first round pick with the teams that are available? There just aren't a whole lot of teams that you even think would be in the market in which I would trade a first round pick for a corner who I think has shown the A.J. Browns, the Nico Collins, those elite guys, the guys that we argue in the top 10. He has struggled over the last couple of years guarding those guys.
Listen, we'll have a lot of time to have this conversation all offseason. I'm just flabbergasted that you, Corner Dot, are spelling the idea of what is an all-pro corner worth on the trade market.
But this, I guess,
and this corner is worth a first-round pick.
You're right, but I guess he is an all-pro slot nickel corner. He is not a go outside, I can cover anybody in the league all-pro. He's not Stingley. I wouldn't even say that he's Kwame Lassiter for the Houston Texans. Do you feel like he's Surtain? Do you feel like right now, if the Chiefs had a playoff game and you asked him to go cover the other team's best receiver, regardless of how they line up, do you feel like Trent McDuffie can do it?
I would feel comfortable. Maybe that guy would get catches, but I think if you look up A.J. Brown's Super Bowl numbers, you'd be underwhelmed. Devontae Smith, who apparently the text line just doesn't understand is good at football, was the one cooking. A.J. Brown's numbers in the Super Bowl were underwhelming, if I recall correctly.
A.J. Brown was kind of cooking earlier. Remember, A.J. Brown had the first touchdown in the game. It was on Trent McDuffie.
I mean, yeah, that's just corners in the NFL now.
For sure, 100%.
If I were to cherry pick, Pat Surtain got beat by blank, that happens. But over the course of a game, Trent McDuffie did a good job. The Chiefs did not lose the Eagles because Trent McDuffie was getting smoked by AJ Brown.
Everybody was out there getting smoked. It was that was from the earth out there. It was passing. Everybody was out there getting smoked. Yeah, I'm looking at the teams that you think are realistic, and there are not as many realistic teams as you would think that McDuffie, if that's what you think he's worth. And if you're not getting a 1, I'm not trading a 2 for Trent McDuffie. I'm just gonna keep him then if that's the case. But you're not trading him to an AFC team. Like, you're not trading him like right now, Buffalo called with the 24th overall pick. The Chiefs are not taking the 24th overall pick from Buffalo in exchange for Trent McDuffie. They are not doing that trade. The Chargers, they are not taking that trade. They're not taking the Houston trade. So any good team in the AFC that's in the playoffs, you're not trading with that team. That's almost half the conference. And then with some of these NFC teams, it's not very realistic to me that they would call Kansas City. Tomorrow, the Seattle Seahawks are not calling and trading their first-round pick to add Kansas City's number 1 corner. They are not making that phone call. That's not where they're weak at.
I do think there are more teams on the NFC side that would call than I think you would think. I think the Lions would call. I think the Cowboys would call. I think the Packers would probably call. Now, these are teams not picking the top 10. Like, I don't think the Giants are going to call.
Well, yeah, but I guess I would say with Dallas, though, I mean, Dallas has the 12th overall pick. Dallas has 1 first-round pick. They have the 12th overall pick. No, they have the Green Bay pick, too.
They have 20. They have the Parsons
so they have 2.
pick. Yeah.
They have 2 first-round picks. Would Dallas call with the 20th overall pick for Trent McDuffie?
I think Dallas would call with the
That'd be interesting, though.
I would, and if I'm the Chiefs, I think you hit yes. But I think a first-round pick in the 20s is probably the value of Trent McDuffie.
Dallas with the 20th overall pick is very interesting. That they got for the Micah Parsons trade.
Pick, yeah. I said Packers as if their pick.
No, that's interesting.
The Parsons pick you would take in a heartbeat for Trent McDuffie.
Yeah, you would take the 20th overall pick for Trent McDuffie if you got offered the 20th overall pick.
Now, I know bring us a break. To Nate's point, if you're doing that, you need to re-sign Jalen Watson.
Oh, for sure.
You can't be walking in with no corners into 2026. But
I think Watson's about to get. I think Watson is going to be one of those guys, and when we see the number he gets paid, you're going to think, wow.
Remember when Charvarius Ward got paid? We all went, huh?
Yep.
It's the same. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's about to be a very big number.
He was a 7th-round pick. Go get your money, young man. But yeah, it's going to be a big number.
Coming up at the top of the hour, Matt Tate is going to join us. He covers the Jayhawks. Rob is going to the game today. Darren Peterson is going to the game. Rob's not going to play. Is Darren Peterson not going to play? We'll find out. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5, The Fan.
Okay, new problem. It's a crash off to the right shoulder. A lot of onlooker delay. Lee Summit 50 westbound at Shipman. Then you've got Shawnee. You'll tap your brakes through here. This stall blocking part of the right lane. 635 southbound at Miriam. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
This January, Fridays just got cooler. Only at Harrah's, Kansas City. Polar Patrol is making their rounds, and you can win $500 in free play. Just come out and play at any slot machine or table game for your chance to win $500 in free play. That's right. Fridays in January, the fun is on patrol and the prizes are ready to pop. So bundle up and head to Harrah's, Kansas City, where the good times keep flurrying. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by the Casey Boat and Fishing Show, January 8th through the 11th. CaseyMoBoatShow.com. Get ready for fun in the sun at the Casey Boat and Fishing Show, January 8th through the 11th at Bartle Hall Convention Center. With kids, free admission.
Take advantage of 4 days of special show pricing on hundreds of boats and non-stop entertainment.
Go to CaseyMoBoatShow.com for info.
Hey, hockey fans. Now with BetMGM, you can win a share of $10,000 in bonus bets when your anytime goal scorer nets 3. Enter BetMGM's Hat Trick Jackpot all season long for your chance to win some major bonus bets. It's easy. Just log in and opt into the promotion. Then make an anytime score bet on any hockey game of at least $10. If your player of choice scores 3 goals instead of just 1, you'll win your share of the $10K in bonus bets. There's nothing quite like watching a game with a hat trick, especially when it means means you can win a share of $10,000 in bonus bets. Ready to shoot your shot? Download the app today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards or bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Men, the new year is here, and if you're like many of us, you're ready to improve your health. But if you're feeling low energy, not sleeping well, or not seeing results in the gym, keeping that resolution can be tough. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if those symptoms sound familiar, we can likely help. They often point to low testosterone, and treating low T is what we do. But this year, we're also helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring growth hormone peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more, designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. With our low T treatments combined with our body composition programs, most men notice real improvements, more energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and often a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com.
Future therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-284-1238. 800-284-1238. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-284-1238.
Wildcat fans, this is Wyatt Thompson. Tune in all season long to the play-by-play of the 2025 football season, right here on your home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
I wish you guys, well, I guess you can see Rob. Rob is fully decked out today. Rob has a brand new KU hat I've never seen before. Rob's got a brand new, you can tell he got this stuff for Christmas. You can tell. Now, Rob is a season ticket holder, and this is important to note with why we have Matt Tate on the show. He has never seen Darren Peterson play inside Allen Fieldhouse. Not once. He is excited because he thinks today is the day. We are going to find out from Matt Tate if today is the day or not. Matt, we appreciate you coming on the show today. I guess the question everybody wants to know, is Rob going to watch Darren Peterson later tonight?
I think Rob's going to watch him. I think Rob should stay in his seat and make sure he doesn't spend too much time at the concession stand or the bathroom so he doesn't miss him, because you never know. That's where we're at, man. I mean, everything that Bill Self said yesterday is, look, he's probable. We're expecting him to play. We don't know how many minutes he's going to play because we don't know how he's going to feel. They do now. The Big 12 makes football and basketball put out that injury report. There was nothing on it. Not a single player, not a questionable, not a doubtful, not a maybe, not a nothing. So that's a good sign that Rob's going to be in good shape tonight. But this whole thing has been so squirrely, and whether you think squirrely means conspiracy stuff or you just think it's unfortunate or you land somewhere in the middle, you're right. It's been a mess. And so the fact of the matter is, until he sees him on the floor actually playing, there are no guarantees. I expect it. I would love to see it for the sake of calming everybody down and for the sake of the fact that Darren Peterson's a hell of a talent, and we all should want to see it, whether you like KU or not. He's that good at basketball that you should enjoy watching this guy play, but he's got to be out there for you to enjoy it, and so far that's been really, really tough.
It's crazy because, and Rob and I were talking about this yesterday, I feel like KU is stuck in a lot of ways. For all of the things that KU measures its greatness by, they cannot do that without Darren Peterson. This team cannot win the Big 12 without him. They can't win the national championship. They can't go to the Final Four. Like, they might have the best player in college basketball on their team, so obviously they need him on the floor. But also how it's working. They can't do this either. You don't know if he's available for the second half. He might can play some of the second half, but you don't know when that ends. You don't know how many minutes he can play. You don't know how his body's going to react. You don't know if he's there from one game or the other. Like, it is just so much is in question right now that it feels like it's hard to kind of build that continuity as you were heading into conference play with so much uncertainty around your best player.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, it's made this season feel like 5 seasons already, right? And we're sitting here on January 6th talking about that. We're not even into the meat of this thing yet, but it has felt really long. I can only imagine how it's felt for Coach Self. I can only imagine how it's felt for Darren. What I can say about that, though, is you have to give his teammates a hell of a lot of credit. I really have been impressed by them. I mean, these guys, they show up. And they're like, if we have him, we have him. If we don't, we don't. But we're going to play. And the rest of that group, you're dead right that they don't have enough to win a national championship or the Big 12 or whatever. But they're competitive dudes and they play hard. And as you've seen, as everybody who's watched has seen, sometimes this team has looked a lot better without Darren. And that's another place, I think, where you talked about them being stuck. I think that's a tough spot to be in because you can't sit him. There's no way you can sit him if he's healthy and ready to go. But right now, it doesn't look the same with him out there as far as what those other guys can do or are able to do or feel like doing and all of that. So it is. It's a really sticky situation. It's really tough for everybody that's a part of it. Again, I think the guys deserve a lot of credit for just playing. And, you know, it would be really easy for Melvin Council and Trey White and Flory Badunga to just sit there and feel sorry for themselves. Well, gosh, we don't have Darren. You know, you should feel for me. We're missing our guy. But they don't do that. And I do give them a lot of credit for that because you don't get, 20 years to play college basketball. It's especially at a place like Kansas. You that's a very limited window. And for all these guys, really, I mean, this is Flory's second year doing it. This is Melvin Council's first year doing it. This is Trey White's first year doing it. And, rather than sitting there feeling sorry for themselves because, the potential number 1 pick in the draft who is on their team isn't able to play with them, they're like, screw it, let's just go ball. And, you got to give them credit for that. It doesn't mean they're, a top 2 team in the country or in the Big 12 or any of that, but it does mean that in a lot of ways they fit what Bill Self's looking for. You just would like to see what it looks like if they could fit Darren into the rest of that. Because if they can, if he's able to get back, even if it's not until February 1st or whatever, that they have enough time then to put the pieces together and get everything clicking and be a team that could be a really tough out. But until we see just not only a couple of weeks in a row, but at least a couple of games in a row where he doesn't have any issue, until we see that, it's hard to expect that it's coming.
That's why, Matt, Rob and I were joking, tonight they play TCU and the tickets are kind of affordable. And I'm kind of like waiting to hold out to go to the game next week against Iowa State. And then Rob is like, hold on, wait, you think he's going to play in 3 consecutive games? You got to play this game. You got to play Saturday. Then you got to turn around on Tuesday. And I'm like, man, you're right. Maybe I got to go tonight to watch this because who knows the next chance I'll get to see Darren Peterson at Allen Fieldhouse.
It's incredible. It is. And it's funny. I was at the gym this morning and there was a guy from Nebraska in there and he overheard me. Somebody was asking me some of these same questions. They like to find out what I know and all of that. And admittedly, it's not always a whole lot, but I'm happy to talk about it. And so, this guy overheard me talking about it and he said he's from Nebraska and he's got a whole bunch of people coming from Lincoln, his family and they were coming down to see Darren play. And same thing. He's in the same exact boat. He's like, I don't even know if I can promise them that they're going to. And meanwhile, while that family's coming down from Lincoln to watch Darren Peterson play in Allen Fieldhouse, first chance they get to come see that, Fred Hoiberg's got the Huskers 14-0 and looking like one of the better teams in the country. So it was kind of a funny moment laughing with the guy about who would have thought that one day Nebraska basketball might be a more safer, comfortable draw than Kansas is right now. But, that's getting ahead of it a little bit. I mean, this team still has talent, and they do look good at times. They're not whole yet. They don't know what they are yet. And until the Darren question's answered, I don't know that they're going to.
You said something really interesting, Matt, earlier, and I've picked this up from watching KU throughout the course of the season. I think you and I would agree with this. I'm not really sure how talented this KU team is, and they're not as talented as some of the KU teams that I've seen even in recent memory. But, man, this team plays hard and they play together, and I don't think that was the case last year. And as long as that's your floor and that's your foundation, guys that play hard, guys that play together, guys that seem to care, you can do some pretty decent things with that foundation, and when you got one of the best coaches in college basketball history.
For sure. I agree with you completely. I do think even without Darren, they can be a Sweet 16 team. And you've watched enough college ball to know that if you're a Sweet 16 team, you're 40 minutes away from being an Elite Eight team. And if you get to the Elite Eight, anything can happen, especially if the bracket opens up in your favor or whatever, right? So it's not impossible. It's not like there's some rule written that says they can't do it. I do think they can be a second weekend team because of all those things you just said. I mean, the coolest thing about this team, and I've covered 100 of these teams, right? The coolest thing about this team is those guys that I just mentioned who are doing this for the first time, or even a guy like Flory who's still only been here his second year. This is really the first time he's been in a featured role, obviously, that kind of thing. They don't take it for granted. Melvin Council puts on a Kansas uniform and he's like, hell yes, look at this. I don't think he says it, but I think he feels it. I think this is a dude who was at St. Bonaventure, right? And he's now playing at Kansas in one of the best college arenas, sports arenas in the world, right? I mean, I don't think that this guy ever takes that for granted. Trey White, same thing. So, you see that in the way they play. And to be honest, man, that might be the damn shame of it all, because after a couple of seasons of really struggling to build and put a roster together that worked, it looks like if Darren Peterson were just fine and happy and healthy and just the dude that everybody expected him to be, the rest of these guys would fit around him so perfectly, and they would be the types of players that Bill Self likes to coach, gets the most out of, and could be in a great supporting role for, maybe one of the best players in school history. So it is a shame that it hasn't all come together yet, and it's an even bigger shame that it might not come together. But I do think that, it's still a little early to say, to give up hope. I think you've got another month or so before you have to start going, man, this is going to be how it goes. I think a lot of people feel that way right now, and I understand that. But I do think that there's still a few weeks in there where you can sit back and just say, okay, let's see what happens. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe this is the time he'll play 3 games in a row, and once he does that, gosh, you know what? Maybe he'll stop coming out of games. Maybe his head will be right. Maybe he'll be happy. Maybe he'll be healthy. Maybe everything will just roll from there. And then you got 6 weeks to put it together before the tournament, and that is enough time. But it's gotta start happening sooner than later. And and even if he's just good and gets right and is back, it still isn't a guarantee that it'll happen. But he's so talented, man. I mean, he fits any style. He fits any 4 on the court with them. He can make others better. He can. There's just so many things that are so easy and so natural for him that if they're able to get the other things, the roadblocks out of the way, there's no doubt in my mind that he could elevate this team and they could be fun down the stretch.
That is Matt Tate joining us on the show. He covers KU with R1S1Sports.com. Matt, I'm a big fan, man. I appreciate you. Thanks a lot for popping on today.
My pleasure, man. I hope you make it over. And Rob, I hope you get to see him tonight. I feel bad if I let you down. Sorry.
Oh, you know what, Matt? I actually have to ask you this. I'm sorry. I got to ask you this last question. So a lot of people are mad at me for this. So for Rob, every year I try to get Rob a Christmas gift. This year, Rob told me that he wanted to go to 1587. So I hooked it up. I got him a reservation. I told Rob that I would give him $200 towards his bill, but all he had to do was play the Mizzou fight song and say M-I-Z. He would not say M-I-Z. I think Rob is wrong here, but a lot of people said I was in the wrong because I put conditions to Rob's gift. All I wanted was a gift back. What side are you on with this? Who do you think was right? Who do you think was wrong?
Man, is it possible you're both right? Like, I like that. I do. I like Rob holding his ground. I really do. And I think it's fair. Like, what if you got him in the past? I mean,
well,
anything cool? Anything worth that
like
kind of
every
money?
year, one year I got he and his wife tickets to see Mariah Carey. Whenever Rob got engaged, I got him an authentic Rafe LaFrance throwback jersey. I try to get him a very thoughtful gift. I try to get him.
Yeah. So that's not like you didn't go out of your comfort zone for putting a couple $100 on it. I like it, man. If I had to pick a side, because I do think you're both right, but if I had to pick a side, I'm sorry, Rob, but I think I would go with CDOT on this one, just because, man, that's a cool place to go. That's a nice gesture. You get a free meal and it's easy, and you can go wash your hands and wash your mouth when you're done. It's not that hard, right?
That's right, Matt Tate. That's our guy, Matt Tate from R1S1. Matt, we would be happy to keep talking to you. We actually got breaking news in the National Football League. Matt, good luck tonight to KU, man. We appreciate you.
Thanks, fellas. We'll see you.
Absolutely. That is Matt Tate joining us on the show. I could keep talking to Matt for hours. We got breaking news.
The Drive. First to breaking news in Kansas City.
The Baltimore Ravens and longtime decorated head coach John Harbaugh are parting ways after days of discussion. A major decision in Baltimore. This is from Ian Rappaport of NFL Network. The Baltimore Ravens are looking for a new head coach. John Harbaugh out after the Ravens missed the playoffs on Sunday Night Football. A couple of really key questions. If the kicker had made the kick, would John Harbaugh had still been the head coach, or are they just firing him at the end of the season anyway? Their kicker missed an extra point. Their kicker then turned around and then missed a 44-yard field goal. If the Ravens are in the playoffs, are they making a change at head coach? A lot to discuss when it comes to this. I mean, this is by far and away the best job that is open. The Ravens are looking for a new head coach. They are parting ways with John Harbaugh. We'll react on the other side. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Rain on game day doesn't faze Dave. He's already got his poncho. Just needs to do something about those wipers. So Dave heads to AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone,
where a friendly AutoZoner helps him get premium quiet wipers and some hand warmers.
You're all set.
Now, if only his team can handle the elements as well as his new wipers. Get wipers, glass cleaner, and more with no hassles, just help at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Park & Go, the best deals on airport parking.
Heading out of town this winter? Snow, ice, and cold temps are stressful enough. Airport parking shouldn't be. Park & Go makes it easy with online reservations, fast free shuttles, and all spots are covered to keep your car protected from winter weather. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com.
The playoffs are here. More specifically, the NFL wildcard round is here, and FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack during every NFL playoff game day, each game day during the wildcard round. You'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you on the app. So whether you're like me and you think the Patriots are going to go all the way, or you think Jacksonville is going to win in this first round of the playoffs, you can take your shot on an upset or build a parlay that fits the moment. Then apply your profit boost and go for even bigger payouts while you get the playoffs rolling. Visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack for every NFL playoff game day. FanDuel is an official sports betting partner of 96.5 The Fan. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable profit boot token. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm Kiara Palazzolo,
VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
There's nothing I love more than saving money with my Hy-Vee Perks card. Cashing in on all the great fuel saver deals, that's just one of the ways that I save with my Hy-Vee Perks card. I saved 30 cents a gallon just a couple of weeks ago. There are a lot more benefits to having a free Hy-Vee Perks membership, like exclusive members-only pricing and digital coupons. Upgrade to Perks Plus and get free delivery, express pickup, and special fuel discounts. Save today on groceries and gas, only at Hy-Vee.
It's Thirsty Thursday at Hy-Vee. Time to stock up the bar and fill up your tank. Earn 50 cents per gallon fuel savings on every $50 purchase of wine, beer, hard seltzer, and spirits. Mix and match all your favorite libations and get a 50-cent fuel saver with every $50 purchase. Stack up the savings and your next fill-up could be free. Don't miss Thirsty Thursday at your Kansas City, Missouri Hy-Vee. Product promotion differs by location. Offers valid where legal, available while supplies last.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Crash on the curve, right lane block 635 northbound just past K5 North. As you approach 38th, be prepared to tap your brakes. A 70 westbound as you approach 435, problem in that area, right lane blocked. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. The Drive. First to breaking news in Kansas City.
The Baltimore Ravens are looking for a new head coach. John Harbaugh is out as the Baltimore Ravens head coach. A couple of things, because this is just coming down. So these are just, I've had 3 minutes to think about this. I guess the first part of this is, I know that it is cool to kind of poke at the media and say that media people do things for clickbait, and I get all of those things. The Baltimore Sun told us this was happening and foreshadowed this 2 weeks ago. They told us this. A lot of people pushed back on the story, but there was a story 2 weeks ago that let us know, hey, there's problems in Baltimore, and put this on the radar. I'm sorry, you just don't get to these jobs and you don't get to this level by just making things up. This isn't The Wire season 5. So we found out there was smoke a couple of weeks ago. There was a disconnect between John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson. And if you were the Baltimore Ravens, it felt like you had to choose between the two. You had to choose. And you made your choice. You picked the quarterback over the head coach. That is a decision that you made. I don't necessarily think that the Ravens even think that you were getting a better head coach than John Harbaugh. He's one of the 5 best coaches, 10 best coaches in the league. Got all the respect in the world for Harbaugh. Who doesn't have all the respect for him? It is very obvious that something behind the scenes, there was a relationship that was frayed between the coach and the quarterback. And in that situation, somebody got to go. And you know who had to go. It was John Harbaugh in this situation. A lot of people are saying, do you think he's going to the Raiders? I obviously can't speak for the personal relationship between John and Jim, just what we see and all of those kind of things. I would be very, very surprised if John joined the same conference as his brother to go up against him twice a year. They seem very, very close with one another. It's one thing to both have the same job. It's another thing to be in the same division and you're really trying to go at and compete with that guy. I'd be really, really surprised if he took the Las Vegas job because of that reason. Now, I understand why Vegas would want to call Harbaugh, and Harbaugh should move to the number 1 on everybody's list. Harbaugh's still got a lot of time left. He's 63 years old. I mean, Andy's 68. So if you're going to hire Harbaugh, and even if you get the next 5-6 years of John Harbaugh, I will take that as a team. If I am the New York Giants, I'm looking at him like he is our Andy Reid. That's how I'm looking at him. Now, he might not get the Patrick Mahomes character, but you guys remember where the Chiefs were as an organization, and you remember Clark's pursuit of Andy Reid. He didn't let Andy go anywhere. If you remember the story correctly, Andy had a interview scheduled with Arizona, and Clark basically told him, no, you're not going to Arizona. You're coming to work for us. If you are the New York Giants and you get a chance to get in front of John Harbaugh and pitch him, you cannot let him leave. Give him what he needs. If he needs courtside seats to the Knicks game, you got it. If you want to go see Hamilton. But the New York, this is a layup for the New York Giants. You have to go get John Harbaugh to be your head coach. If you go get John Harbaugh, the Giants can make the playoffs next year. You got the quarterback to do it. You got enough talent to do it. The division is always quirky. The Giants could be in the postseason next year if they go get John Harbaugh. He is such a no-brainer for them.
I agree. I think he's a no-brainer for everyone. I think John Harbaugh will get to pick his job, not vice versa. I think right now his agent is probably fielding calls from the Giants, from the Titans. I bet Tom Brady and co. or the Raiders are calling him. I bet the Cardinal. There is not a job in the NFL that has not, at least, they haven't done it yet, but is not going to reach out to John Harbaugh. He is going to be the most sought-after commodity there is. And I think now, as we get into this, message board, hot stove of coaching searches, he will have to be the first domino. Because if you're the Giants, pick a team that needs a coach. You are waiting until you're told no on John Harbaugh before you go anywhere else. And if you're a team that's on the fringe about your coach, looking at you, Miami Dolphins, do you, without a GM, go, hold on, John Harbaugh's available. Let's fire Mike McDaniel, get a GM and John Harbaugh in here. I think this is a massive domino now when it comes to coaching search this year in the offseason.
Who do you think gets the Ravens job? Because the Ravens job is now the best job, and it's not close.
Correct. It's the best job currently. I think if the Steelers job opens, it's tied for one.
I'd rather be the coach of the Ravens. They just got much more of a track record, at least over the last 15 years. Yeah. They have more of a track record, not historically, obviously.
That's a good question. You would want.
I don't even know who the favorite for the Ravens job would be.
You would want an offensive mind to pair with Lamar. Sure. So who's an offense? Who's the hot shot offensive name right now? Because last year I would have told you, no doubt, you go out, you do everything you can to go get Ben Johnson. There's not a Ben Johnson on the market. Is there a college coach that?
I'm not putting a college coach with Lamar. Not when his prime is winding down.
I agree. That's what I'm like. But is there like a hot shot, play caller somewhere that I'm not thinking about? Because I don't think Clint Kubiak, who is that name right now, he's the OC of the Seahawks. I don't know that Kubiak and Lamar work great with that Shanahan style of offense. But you would have to think offensive mind. I don't even know where the Ravens look to go.
If I'm Kevin Stefanski, this is where I want to go.
Oh well, yeah. If you're any coach available, I know, but I'm saying you want to go.
I'm saying is if I'm Kevin Stefanski and people have said I can get the most out of the quarterback position, the number one place I want to go is Baltimore. I already have the quarterback. I've got a strong organization and a strong foundation. We got a commitment to running the football. We got a good defense. If you're Kevin Stefanski, this is where you need to be angling. You need to be the one to sell to the Baltimore Ravens. I can get Lamar Jackson back on track from where he was this past season. We're going to have a healthier relationship than we had. And we can go from there. Like, if I'm Kevin Stefanski, this is the job that this is manna from heaven is what it is. It's manna from heaven is what I would call it. Somebody said they call Matt Nagy. I mean this for real. If the Baltimore Ravens hired Matt Nagy, if I'm Lamar Jackson, I would retire. I'd retire from the net. Tomorrow, I would go up there and I would announce my retirement. I would think that they hate me. That's what I would think. I would think that they hate me, that they don't want what's best for me in my career if that's what they decided to do, if they hired Matt Nagy to be my head coach. Can you imagine going from John Harbaugh to Matt Nagy? I would retire. I would quit. I've made enough money in my life. It's time for me to quit and start coaching high school football in Florida. That's what I would go do if I'm Lamar.
I mean, if they hire Matt Nagy, they deserve what they
it's
get.
insane.
It's
insane if they would go hire Matt Nagy.
That would be one of the dumbest.
That'd be one of the worst. That'd be one of the worst things you could possibly do.
Hire. I'm trying to even think. I'm racking my brain for who, like the hot shot coordinator names. A lot more defensive hot shot names this go round. Maybe this is just me. Would you pair a defensive mind with Lamar, or do you go offense? Like,
I think there might be a chance they promote Todd Monken, their offensive coordinator. I could see them doing that.
I think that would be a mistake.
I mean, I agree with you, but I could definitely see a scenario in which they would do that.
I don't disagree. They could do that.
They did this a year too late.
100%.
Well, they couldn't have fired him after last year, but you know who you really like? You should have went to go get Ben Johnson when he was the obvious number one. Everybody wanted him,
or even Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore would be a good fit with Lamar with what he did with Jalen Hurts. You're not trading for him from the Saints. Like, there were a couple offensive names last year that would have made sense. No, all the names this year that like on the hot board: Vance Joseph, defense; Jeff Hafley, that's the defense coordinator of the Packers. Obviously, defense. Like, who's the sexy offensive name that you would pair with Lamar Jackson? Unless you're going to just go different. And if you promote Todd Monken, more congrats, Todd Monken. You're 3 years away from being fired. I don't know.
For sure. I can't believe. Maybe the text line's joking. Matt Nagy. If the Ravens hire Matt Nagy, then they should be forced to sell the team. Forced. The owner should have to sell the team. It'd be one of the worst hires in the last 10 years if that's what they decided to do. I'm not high on Matt Nagy heading into this offseason, really at all. Like, there's no part of me that is high on him and what he's done so far. Like, not even a little bit. If you guys missed it, the breaking news right now in the National Football League is that the Ravens are looking for a new head coach. They have decided to part ways with John Harbaugh. We were kind of going through some of the possible names and who could go here, who could go there. I think the most logical place for him to go is the New York Giants. It checks so many boxes to me if you are the New York Giants. There is not a bigger home run to me if you are the Giants. The Jets have a measure of dysfunction attached with them. That's not the way we really feel about the Giants. They already have a quarterback. They've got a young running back that you like in Cam Scatterbo. You can easily go pick up another. You have like a 1A, 1B situation. You've got one of the better young wide receivers in the league. You got some pieces there on the defensive line. There's a lot of things to like about that Giants job that if you got a coach with a track record of Harbaugh and you put him in that division with Philly and Dallas and Washington, the Giants, it makes so much sense to me if you are the Giants to put in a phone call and go try to grab them. We were just talking about Matt Nagy. I want to play for you guys. Nate Taylor was on the midday show earlier today. Here he is talking about the offensive coordinator job in Kansas City.
Number one is you have to be the right companion for Andy. Andy's going to scheme guys open. That's just a fact, right? So as offensive coordinator, my belief is, how do we get these things to mirror? How do we get these things to match, to synchronize once again in the running game, in the specialty plays, in the red zone, short yardage? The creativity has been lacking, I think, especially in the red zone. And that was something that, if Chiefs fans remember, they were excellent in like that 2020, 2021, 2022 era of them just being excellent in the red zone. So Andy's always going to be pass first. We understand that. It's a passing league. He's got the best quarterback we've ever seen play the position. But you still have to have a number of diverse variety of ways to run the ball well, to have things, again, match up so that it's not as easy for the defense to decipher certain things in terms of not being as predictable. And so that's where you work with Andy in terms of the game plan on a week-to-week basis, and obviously the scheme that you're developing from essentially after the combine all the way up until, week one.
So you're saying job one is refine the scheme.
You just have to be the right partner, right?
I think the Chiefs' offensive coordinator situation is the top story right now. I know there's a lot of questions about what the Chiefs are going to happen and what's with Travis Kelce. I get all of that. Right now, they don't have an offensive coordinator. Matt Nagy's contract is up, and anything that you read would suggest that Matt Nagy either the Chiefs don't want Matt Nagy back, or they are spinning it like Nagy is going to leave because he wants more responsibility somewhere else, which I get it. If you're Matt Nagy, you probably need to go somewhere and be a associate head coach. Maybe you go to a situation where, throw this scenario out there, the Ravens maybe go defensive-minded head coach. You then bring in an offensive-minded head coach, and it's kind of understood that this is his side of the ball, that is your side of the ball, kind of like the power structure that we have right now in San Francisco, where you have Kyle Shanahan on the offensive side, you got Robert Saleh on the defensive side, and they just got two heavyweight coordinators on each side of the ball. Could that be part of the power structure? That's not really part of the power structure, I would say, in Kansas City. It is between the head coach and the defensive coordinator. That's not really how we see it when it comes to the offensive coordinator. Now, we were talking about this earlier, Rob. I think that Cliff Kingsbury just makes a lot of sense. We know his relationship with Patrick Mahomes, and if Patrick Mahomes comes to you and vouches for him, so to speak, I think you really got to listen if you're the Kansas City Chiefs. I think Cliff Kingsbury there is a measure of imagination that I think Andy could just use an infusion of. I don't care how good you've been. You got to experiment with some level of new. We've been eating at McDonald's for a long time. Man, they introduce new food items. You got to, if you're a musician, you got to experiment with new sounds and work with new people. You have to be in a position that you're constantly willing to change and evolve. And if you're Andy Reid, you have grown kind of stagnant and stale, and you've kind of stayed in this box a little bit. I really think the number one question with the Chiefs, and this will answer anything else, any permutation, how willing are the Chiefs to doing something new? Are the Chiefs basically going to, well, we have an offensive coordinator position. There's only two possible people that we think can fill this position, so that's the direction that we're going to go. Are we just going to keep looking for the same Jerick McKinnick type in our offense? Are we going to keep looking for this same style of receiver? Are the Chiefs willing to expand past what they've done for the last 3-4 seasons and try something new? If the Chiefs are willing to try something new, then anything is on the table. If the Chiefs aren't willing to try something new, then I can tell you who their offensive coordinator is going to be. It's going to be Mike Kafka. Just, you know that. They know him. He's available. They've got an opening. They always go with what they know. They're just very safe. Are the Chiefs willing to continue to play it safe, or are they willing to take more of a dice roll and potentially live with some of the learning curves that go with trying something new to have potentially a greater reward on the back end?
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
It's you and the text line. Because I want to know if your intriguing Cliff is just the idea of being different, or if it's legitimately in Cliff. Because I understand what you're saying if you're trying to be different. If you're talking about new foods at McDonald's, if you're not trying to go down the Kafka, Peterson, B&M route, cool. I'm fine with new as a concept. There are new options other than Cliff Kingsbury. Because I would say Cliff Kingsbury's resume does not read of that of a can't-miss OC. Do you know that his time coaching in the NFL as OC with the Commanders and with head coach of the Cardinals with Jaden Daniels and Kyler Murray? Now, we can debate Kyler Murray's greatness, but he's a good football player. He's not Chris Oladokin. He's not the dregs of the league. He's totally middle of the pack.
He has a lot of talent that he has never fully put together. I agree.
And on top of that, yes, Jaden Daniels was great last year, but who was the quarterback where you were like, oh, he got better because he was with Cliff Kingsbury? And even in college, as the head coach at Texas Tech, he had Patrick Mahomes. They went 6-7. They had the greatest NFL quarterback, arguably of all time, at Texas Tech, a place I now know you can win at a high level. And he was sub 500 and missed a bowl game in one of those years. Like, is the idea behind Cliff just, hey, we want new and different? And that's fine if that's your answer. But if your answer is no, I want Cliff for his offensive philosophies, he hasn't been an offensive dynamo in the league. And also, as someone who has preached at me for 17 weeks, run the football, gotta run the football, running the football is key. You're going to hire air raid Cliff Kingsbury? So is it Cliff or is it different? What are you looking for in OC? Because I don't think Cliff fits.
I think you're making very, very fair points. I think Cliff's strongest suit would be this. I think that he could get the most out of Patrick Mahomes, which in return, I think getting the most out of Patrick Mahomes just gets the most out of your offense.
To be fair, sorry, I'm interrupting.
No,
Hasn't every OC outside of Matt Nagy gotten the most out of Patrick Mahomes? He's a multiple-time MVP, threw 50 touchdowns one year. It wasn't like he's this untapped resource. We've seen it hit before.
You're right, but I would say right now we are not talking about ability anymore with Patrick Mahomes. We are talking about mechanics and the little things. We all think Patrick Mahomes is amazing. There is a glaring weakness that he has as a player. He has been really bad connecting in deep ball situations. He's one of the worst in the league at it. That is not an opinion anymore. That is a proven fact based on the numbers. Is there an offensive coordinator that you think could help get that aligned and get that back on track? I think that's also some of it with this team. I think Patrick feels very comfortable with him. So I would say, to answer your question, it is not new for Patrick, but it would be new in the Chiefs kind of going outside of their family and what they traditionally do and opening themselves up to somebody outside of the family. Like Cliff Kingsbury's 46 years old. He just has a very different offensive philosophy than what Andy's going to have at 68 years old. Realistic possibility to be the OC in Kansas City. He is definitely in the conversation of people who, over the next couple of weeks, we will see a tweet from Adam Schefter or a tweet from Ian Rappaport that Cliff Kingsbury is sitting down with the Chiefs and interviewing for the offensive coordinator job. They owe it to themselves to sit down with Cliff Kingsbury.
I think they would do that. I just think, and I'm with you on new and different. I don't want Kafka. I don't want a retread. Who's the quarterback coach right now? Girardi. I don't want that. I don't know that Cliff Kingsbury is the right answer just because he's different. I think he has underachieved everywhere, and it's not because he's been asked to do more with less. He's been asked to do more with suitable resources and has often come up a little bit short. There are other names of guys I would hire as OC. The popular name on the text line, the former Rockers quarterback, Nathan Shieldhouse. I would hire Nathan. He's with the Rams right now. I believe he's their quarterback coach. I would hire him right now. There are other people in that sphere I would hire.
I love Nathan Shieldhouse too, but I guess
he's a part of the Rams, which offense is clearly working.
But my worry for Nathan Shieldhouse is, do people like Nathan Shieldhouse because he went to Rockhurst? And if he went to a school in New Orleans, would people be like, oh, let's go get that guy? I feel like half of the Nathan Shieldhouses, we know him. Like, you saw Nathan Shieldhouse playing high school football here in Kansas City. One of the best high school players we've seen come out in the last handful of years or so. Like, is that why people want Nathan Shieldhouse? Because he is an offensive mind that has ties to Kansas City? I would say in that conversation, he is just a different version of Cliff Kingsbury. He has a tie to the area, and you want him. Just like Cliff has a tie to Patrick Mahomes. So they are very comparable candidates, I would say, at least in that regard. We can keep this conversation going. A lot of news right now coming down the National Football League. Cliff Kingsbury is now a free agent. The Chiefs have an opening at offensive coordinator. Are they going to come to agreement with the deal? And also the Ravens, they have made a decision at head coach. Their decision is not move forward with John Harbaugh. He has been let go as their head coach. He is the number one candidate that is available, and the Ravens have the number one job opening in the league. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on Kansas City's only FM sports station, 96.5, The Fan.
At Straight Talk, we get it. You say no a lot.
Mom, can I get a tarantula?
No.
Coffee?
No. So we're giving you more reasons to say yes, like a free 5G phone with real unlimited data with select plan activation.
Can I use the free phone?
Yes. See? Doesn't it feel good to say yes to more?
Absolutely. Face tattoo?
Absolutely not. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. In-store activation of Gold Unlimited plan or higher required. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
It's your captain speaking. To the passenger with the Mirror Fast soft chews, smart move.
No way am I letting travel constipation ruin this trip.
Can't blame you. Mirror Fast works fast, but without the harsh side effects.
Since I'm such a smart traveler, can I move to first class?
No. Close the curtain, Carol.
From the makers of Miralax, new Mirafast soft chews work naturally with your body in as little as 30 minutes to give you a comfortable go on the go. Find Mirafast today at your local retailer. Use as directed for occasional constipation. Contains magnesium hydroxide.
Are you ready for some action, basketball fans? Dusty Likens here. You know I am. BetMGM, an authorized gaming partner of the NBA, is giving players another reason to hit the court this season. BetMGM is adding extra excitement to every basket, every slam dunk, and every buzzer-beating shot with special promotions, new features, and more. Log in throughout the season to find odds boost tokens, no sweat tokens, and same-game parlay boost tokens in your account to amplify those winnings. Enjoy enhanced product features like dark mode as well. We have lots in store between now and when the new champions are crowned. So log into BetMGM, an authorized gaming partner of the NBA, all throughout the basketball season to see what's new. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
Start the new year by moving, not hurting. If joint pain's holding you back, then listen up. There's a way to get real relief without surgery, without downtime, and without putting your life on pause. QC Kinetics delivers regenerative treatments that actually help your body repair the areas causing you pain. Those achy knees, hips, shoulders, your back, wherever it hurts. Instead of facing an invasive operation that sidelines you for months, these treatments happen right in the office and you go about your day. Skip the 3 to 6 months of recovery. Skip the pain. Skip the invasive surgery. Imagine this instead. You're moving stronger and better and planning the year you want. Game-changing regenerative treatments from QC Kinetics. January is supposed to be your clean slate, so make it one. Stop managing the pain and start solving it with QC Kinetics. Call now for your free consultation. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone, it's QC Kinetics.
Report brought to you by Miva Medical. Relief for knee pain, enlarged prostate, and uterine fibroids. MivaMedical.com.
Start the new year feeling comfortable. Men, if frequent bathroom trips are slowing you down, it could be an enlarged prostate. Jeff Montgomery here. I stopped putting it off and contacted Dr. Brown at Miva Medical. The non-surgical treatment was quick and
96.5, The Fan.
Two big problems. 5 northbound just past 70 westbound and 670 westbound at about Broadway. Be prepared to tap your brakes. I see red big backups through there. Also 70 eastbound past 40 highway. Just no right lane blocked. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
The only place in town to hear the hypothetical button game is on The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
All right, we got breaking news right now in the National Football League. John Harbaugh, he is unemployed right now. He used to be the head coach of the Ravens. He was the head coach of the Ravens for 18 years. And there ain't no love in this game. There really isn't. And they have let him go. Now, maybe you guys don't think that this is a fair comparison because their body types are drastically different. And I understand that. But Cam Newton's career, it was over at age 29. Cam Newton is one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the history of the league. He is. He's one of the best dual threat quarterbacks that we've seen. He was healthy. He was consistent from 2010 at Auburn all the way up until 2018 with the Carolina Panthers. Heading into 2019, when he turned 30 years old, Cam Newton got injured. He only played in 2 games that year. And that was the end for Cam Newton. Cam Newton in his 30s threw 12 touchdown passes and 16 interceptions in his 30s. He was done. I only bring that up with Lamar because, in my opinion, the clock is ticking with the Baltimore Ravens quarterback. Guess how old Lamar will be next season when the season gets going? He's 29 years old. He turns 29 years old tomorrow. Happy birthday to Lamar Jackson. He will be 29 years old. Now, I know this season he dealt with injuries, but Lamar Jackson threw 20 fewer touchdowns this season in 4 fewer games. Despite throwing 175 less passes, he threw more interceptions this season. He also was sacked more this year than he was last year, even though he played 4 fewer games this season than last year. Running the football, Lamar was not close to as effective as he was a couple of seasons ago. This was by far and away the worst year running the football for Lamar Jackson. He ran for 349 yards. Before this, his low was 695 yards. He ran for 550 fewer yards in 2025 than he did in 2024. So one of the Ravens' problems this season was you got your quarterback at 40% of the production that you had last season. I don't care how good the rest of your if your quarterback is going to throw for 2,000 less yards, throw 20 less touchdowns for 600 less yards, then you're not going to be a good football team like the Ravens weren't this season. So the Ravens have a coaching question right now that they need to answer for sure. They also got to answer a question of, hey, how much time do we realistically have with Lamar Jackson? Because the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking with Lamar Jackson.
Let me ask you this, and maybe this is an impossible question to answer, but do you think the Ravens are aware the clock is ticking? Because I would say their decision today to fire Harbaugh and keep going forward with Lamar Jackson is basically they had a decision between coach and quarterback. They chose to stick with the quarterback. If you think the clock is ticking, then you think the Ravens should have stuck with coach and found a way to get out from under the quarterback. Because I don't think your analogy is wrong. Cam Newton, while a very different style of runner and a very different body type, was the last pure runner we saw in the NFL. Mike Vick was, but his career was weird because of the hiatus to go to jail, and then he became more of a pocket pass late in his career. If the clock is ticking, do you think the Ravens made the right call in siding with their quarterback over siding with their coach? Because that's the decision they had to make today.
I mean, I understand why they made the decision to go do it. I think if you're the Ravens, you have to be bluntly honest with yourself. You got two more chances, I think, realistically with Lamar. You got two chances realistically. We got to be honest. Lamar Jackson is not playing at this level until he's 33, 34 years old. You don't have that many more opportunities with him. He is a fine passer. He's not a great pocket passer, but what makes Lamar special is his explosiveness and the pressure that puts on the rest of the defense. Lamar has taken a lot of hits over the course of the last couple of years. So to put this into perspective, in Cam Newton's 20s, he ran the ball 929 times. So far with Lamar Jackson, he has run the ball 1,081 times. And that's just running the football. We're not counting when you get hit as a sack. We're not counting when you throw a pass and you get hit anyway, and that just doesn't count for anything. It's just a hurry. It's just a pressure. We're not counting those hits. I mean, Lamar has been hit a bunch over the last couple of years, and we're not talking about the biggest guy either. I think the clock is ticking for Lamar a little bit faster than maybe Baltimore wants to realize. So maybe that's what this move is. Maybe this is them realizing it, understanding that you don't have a whole lot of chances left and a whole lot of time left. Let's be really reactive, and let's see if we can win a Super Bowl in these next couple of years. But we spent a lot of time talking about Buffalo and how Buffalo was almost there and how they got to take advantage of this with no Patrick Mahomes. Man, it seems to me like the Ravens were holding themselves to that same exact standard. The Ravens were holding themselves to we should have been a lot better than that this year. Everything was aligned for us to be this team. Last year's Ravens would be the favorite in the AFC. 2 years ago, Ravens would have been the favorite in the NFC and the favorite to go to the Super Bowl, period. They've been the best team in the league. Man, for you to take such a step back this year in a division that was right there for you to take, the Steelers are not good. The Bengals are not good. The Browns they're the Browns. There's no reason why Baltimore didn't win 11 or 12 games this year, and we're not talking about them in the Super Bowl conversation. Some of it is Lamar and the health that he has, injuries with the rest of the team. So I understand why the Ravens felt the necessity to just go in there and switch things up and try something different for next year.
If that's the case, they need to find a coach who can unlock the second phase of Lamar's career.
I don't know if there is an entirely long second phase.
I don't know the second phase in another 10 years. I agree with you.
I think it's 18 months at the most.
But I think there are quarterbacks who were run first in the NFL who eventually got better at the pocket passing game and had a little bit of a second act. Because your Cam Newton analogy, Cam didn't have a second act. He had basically that moment. Remember he was on the sideline in the Cardinals game and yelled, "I'm back." That was basically the only moment in part two of Cam's career. Mike Vick had a second act with Andy Reid in Philadelphia. Randall Cunningham was a running quarterback. He had a second act in Minnesota in the 90s with Dennis Green. Like, There are guys who were run-first quarterbacks who found a second jolt of life in the NFL when they became better pocket passers. Is there a coach out there, and the answer is probably Kevin Stefanski, who can unlock that second phase and keep the Ravens relevant? Because if it is 18 months away, then I don't know why you're firing John Harbaugh if you're 18 months away from replacing your quarterback anyway.
I will say this. It is kind of interesting to see, I guess, a lot of the backlash that people have towards this, and I don't think it's like immense backlash by any means. I would say the Ravens did what fans say they want their organization to do. The Ravens are tired of feeling like we're close but not close enough, like we are good but not good enough. I mean, we see that all the time when it comes to organizations or college programs. Hey, we're tired of this. The Ravens, with Lamar Jackson, have been good. They have very rarely been great, and they haven't maximized the opportunities when they've had the opportunity to be great. They've had a couple of teams in which you are thinking, hey, this is quite possibly the best team in the league. What was that, 2018, 2019? I'm trying to think of the year the Ravens had the 1 seed, and that was basically the last time we saw Earl Thomas.
2019.
That was the last
because
time we saw
lose
Earl
the
Thomas. That was a year in which the Ravens should have won the Super Bowl. 2 years ago, when the Chiefs went there for the AFC Championship game, is another season in which the Ravens should have gone to the Super Bowl. That was not a great Kansas City team. They had that team at home in the AFC Championship game and got off to a good start. You got to figure out a way to cash those tokens. You got to. You have to figure it out. The Ravens didn't figure it out, and right now, the Ravens are doing what the Steelers should be doing. Hey, we appreciate everything that you have done, but it's time for us to move in a different direction. The one thing I want to know, and maybe we'll never get the answer, is what happens if they win the game? I want to know if they were firing John Harbaugh regardless of what was going to happen. Because we know a lot of times it's result, you can't fire a guy that took you to the playoffs. Yes, we can, and we just did. So I want to know from the Ravens, was his employment contingent on that kid making a 44-yard field goal? Because if that's the why, then you're basing it off emotion. You're not basing it off what you think is in the best interest of your organization. We can talk more about this coming up on the other side. We'll also talk a little bit about the news that the state of Kansas says that the Star Bond package deal has closed for the Royals. What does that mean? We'll talk about it next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
A lot of red through downtown. Biggest problem, 35 northbound, just past 70 westbound. Right lane is blocked. And then Kansas side of things, that is a crash still working. And it's 635 northbound, just past K5 North, 38th. Also, 70 eastbound past 40 highway, right lane blocked. And I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie. Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm personal price plan. Go bananas. I will. Hey, make it a large. Bundling, just another way to save with the personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a lot more.
And I completely agree. That's why I'll pay more for your car at GiveMeTheVin.com. That's the name of our new campaign. I'm worth more. You are worth more, and your car's worth more. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100 at GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
What if your instincts could pay off? With Robinhood Prediction Markets, you can put your sports IQ to work on the games you know best. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. Buy or sell your predictions all game long. Trade every play with Robinhood. Visit Robinhood.com/predict. That's Robinhood.com/predict. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Park & Go, the best deals on airport parking.
Heading out of town this winter? Snow, ice, and cold temps are stressful enough. Airport parking shouldn't be. Park & Go makes it easy with online reservations, fast free shuttles, and all spots are covered to keep your car protected from winter weather. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com.
At Casey's, when someone asked for a cup of coffee that wouldn't put them in debt, but still had freshly ground beans, rich flavor, and a price that starts with a 9 and ends with a D9 cents, we were too nice to say no. Any size darn good coffee, just 99 cents with Casey's Rewards. Limited time only. See store for details.
And Doug.
Oh, what a horrible call. Hey, ref, open your eyes. Ref, you're really not going to call that? Come on.
Hey, ref, why don't you customize your car insurance with Liberty Mutual and save money?
I don't think you get what we're doing.
Sure I do. We're all just giving him advice. You guys on sports, me on saving money.
Nope, that's not it.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
The world's largest sports book at your fingertips has arrived in Missouri. Circus Sports is sports betting the way it should be. With high app limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service, Circus Sports is better for the better. From football to basketball, college sports to pro, start betting like the pros in Missouri. Built for sports bettors by sports bettors. Download your new bookie today at circusports.com. Must be 21 or older. For problem gambling, call the Problem Gamblers Helpline at 1-800-522-4700.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. Thank you so much for listening. It is The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Happy to be here with you. Rob is here as well. Rob is a Kansas basketball season ticket holder. Rob, so far in his season ticket package, has not seen Darren Peterson play in person in Allen Fieldhouse. Now, he has seen Darren Peterson in person at the T-Mobile Center. I was there. I saw Rob. But he has not seen Darren Peterson play at Allen Fieldhouse. He has been walking around today with a little bit extra bop in his step today. He thinks Darren Peterson is going to play today. Now, I don't know if Darren Peterson is going to play or not going to play. I don't know how long Darren Peterson is going to play in the game. I do know one thing. Rob is excited about it. Now, Rob, I mean this. I don't want you to see that chair that he sits in. And at this point, you know exactly the chair that I'm talking about. He has his own special chair. Have you guys ever gone in somebody's basement? It was just understood, hey, you can't sit there. You can sit anywhere else down here. You can sit on the couch. You can sit on the floor, sit on the bar. You cannot sit in Pawpaw's chair. Please do not sit in Pawpaw's chair. And you and I both know when you see Darren Peterson grab that Theragun, it's time to head to the exit. He's done for the day. He's done. He's not playing no more for the rest of the day when he grabs that Theragun. So, for Rob, for your sake, I don't want that for you, man. I want Darren Peterson happy. I want him healthy. I see how much it means to you. I want him to play. I want him to go out. I want him to ball out, have a big dunk, get a big steal. I want to make sure that you get your money's worth today when you're going out to Allen Fieldhouse.
As long as I get to see him play, I'll be happy. You know what? If he does exactly what he did against UCF, put up 23 in the first half and then sit down at the Theragun spot, I'll be happy.
He's got a special Theragun chair.
You can sit down there and play with the Theragun all you want in the second half. You're going to drop 23 in the first. That would make me happy because I think at home against TCU, if he has 20 in the first, I'm going to leave Allen a pretty happy man. But What I don't want is 2 minutes, and then he points to it, and then it's a little lame, and I'm coming off. No, I need to see him actually play real basketball.
Can I ask you this? Why are the tickets so cheap for this game? Is it
Students
just because
are on campus?
That's it?
That's the main
right
thing.
now I'm looking at StubHub, and if you're a KU basketball fan, and I get it, times are hard out here. We just had Christmas, Valentine's Day right around the corner, restaurant week. I mean, there's always things that you got to pay for. They got $10 tickets with fees right now on StubHub. $10 with fees. I'm telling you to get up, go to the game. $10. I'm sitting here looking, Rob, they even got betweens for $20. I'm sitting here looking at it. Section 19, row 20. $20 with fees. Hey, man, y'all got to go to the game today, man. Please go to the game today. I'm encouraging you to go to the game today. Find your way to Allen Fieldhouse tonight and support Kansas. You never know when you can see Darren Peterson play again. You have no clue. I'm holding out to go to the game against Iowa State. They play Iowa State at home next Tuesday. So I'm holding out. I want to see Darren Peterson at Allen Fieldhouse too. Rob's telling me I'm making a terrible decision because he's got to play 2 more games before we get there. He's got to play today, then Saturday, then next Tuesday. That's a lot of basketball. Come on now.
And an airplane. He's got to get on an airplane. Too much can go wrong.
Especially with those tender hamstrings.
He's got to walk down the jetway. Too much can go wrong.
Yeah, with those things. Somebody has to carry him. That's what they got to do. You can't let Darren Peterson walk. You got to carry him. Like the grandma from Wedding Crashers. That's how you got to do. You just got to hold him in your arms. Darren, we can't let you put too much pressure on this. All right, a lot to get into in the 5 o'clock hour. I appreciate you guys listening and making us a part of your day. I want to tell you guys this quick little story about the Royal Stadium. So there was a deadline with the state of Kansas, and the deadline has now passed. Now, I want to read to you guys this little blurb from our dear friends over at Fox 4. So this is from Dan Hawkins. He is the Kansas House Speaker. And there was a deadline of December 31st for the Royals to take advantage of the Stadium Star Bond package. The Chiefs, they followed the deadline, and they took the money. The Royals had the same proposal, and they have, at least as of right now, they have not taken the money. Quote, "We put an end to all that on December 31st. Believe me, I was not kidding when I said that. We've gotten a speedway that's been paid off. We have the whole Legends area that never would have happened. And look at all the money that has come out of that now." So that is the Speaker of the House for the state of Kansas that is commenting on this. I want to be very clear. It is certainly possible that the Royals still move to the state of Kansas. Please do not let this posturing in the media fool you here. Kansas has the 35th. It is the 35th most populated state in the union. Every state that has fewer people than the state of Kansas does not have a professional sports team. Kansas just got one of the more massive wins for the smaller states 2 weeks ago when an NFL team agreed to move to their state. I don't care what baseball team it is. I don't care if Rob Manfred right now, if he called the governor of Kansas and said, we are going to give Kansas their own baseball team. The state of Kansas would bend over backwards to accommodate a Major League Baseball team wanting to come to their state. So please do not pay attention to this or think that this means anything or that now the Chiefs or the Royals don't have any options and now the Royals have to move because Kansas doesn't want them. This is posturing to the umpteenth degree. The truth is, Kansas got what they really, really wanted. We made the analogy on this show. The Chiefs, that was the college they really wanted to go to. The Royals were their fallback option. They really wanted the National Football League for obvious reasons. The state of Kansas wants to say we hosted the Super Bowl. The state of Kansas, that feels very, very proud about college basketball, wants to say we hosted the Final Four. So that's very, very important to them. They were always going to take the Royals, and they still would possibly take the Royals. But this was about getting the Chiefs. The Chiefs took the deal first. And if the Royals end up taking the deal, trust me, they will figure it out. Now, it is important to note, I want to play this audio for you guys. Hawkins can say that, yeah, the time has run out. They would just find a different star bond package to help pay for the baseball stadium. We had someone on from the Kansas City Business Journal earlier, Thomas Freestad. Here's what he said.
You've kind of had these like parallel deadlines here. You've had the end of the year soft deadline. Kansas lawmakers say we will not consider stadium proposals past that point. Of course, it is on the books until June 30th. They could always just reverse course and say, you know what, we think the Royals would be a really great deal. Which are targeted towards tourism boosting projects. It would just not be the enhanced stadium variety that they would be able to qualify for if the state held true to its word.
Trust me, if the Royals still want to move to 119th and all, Kansas will have them, and they will figure out a way to help pay for the stadium because that's what states do. Now, I think I've been very clear on my stance. Maybe you've missed it. I'm happy to share it with you again. There is only one part of the city that will unite everybody, even if you live on the other side of state line. There's no part of me that is excited about the 119th and all idea. Not a single fiber of my being is excited about the 119th and all idea. In fact, I think it's a really bad idea to put the stadium there. Honest, I think it's a bad idea to put the stadium there. I'm lukewarm on the North Kansas City idea. I mean, it's fine. It doesn't really blow my skirt up. It's okay. It's fine. The only idea that will get me excited, will get me fired up, is if they put the stadium in downtown Kansas City, Missouri. That's the only one that will have me ecstatic. And I think it just makes sense for everybody. The Royals go downtown. The Chiefs move to this brand new cathedral out in the suburbs. It can work out for everybody. Now, I want to play this last cut for you guys. This is from Thomas Freestad of the Kansas City Business Journal. He said that each stadium proposed idea has a pro and a con.
The way I look at it now, I don't have a dog in the fight, but every individual site you can point to has disparate pros and cons. You know, it's been said maybe downtown's Washington Square Park is like the perfect urban setting, but it's also a tight site. You wouldn't be able to have a Battery-esque mixed-use district around it. You'd have to buy parcels non-contiguous to the stadium. North Kansas City has a lot of development acreage, but if it might rely on a county-wide new sales tax. And then 119th and all, they control by way of the mortgage purchase out there at the Superior campus. But it seems as though, candidly, everyone and their mother has a reason to not love that site. I think that would be a major uphill battle if they were to attempt to go there.
There aren't a whole lot of pros to that 119th and all idea to me. It really isn't. I guess the pro is it's in Kansas and more of their season ticket holder base is out there. I always wonder this. Where is all this information on where the season ticket holders are? Is there a way that I can access this information? Because I hear people quote this all the time. Like, it's almost like people have just started saying a stat and no one can tell me where the stat came from. Rob, I'm sure you've heard it. Well, for the Royals and the Chiefs, 60% of their base is in Johnson County. Where? I'd love to see this. I'd love to see all the demographics of it. Do we know more about them? Do we know if they're black? Do we know if they're white? Do we know if they're men? Do we know they're women? Like, I'd love to see where do we get all this information from on who is seeing? I never understand why everybody just says this stat and we just have all signed up for this being the truth when it comes to the stadiums. But back to the main point about pros and cons. If you're going to tell me that's the pro, is that it's close to a season ticket base and it allows them to do the financial things, what they want to do with the district and the shops and the hotels and the restaurants, I really think that's about it. I don't think that's a good location. Traffic-wise, I don't think it's a good location. I'm not really thrilled about the 119th and all idea. Now, can the Royals accept that maybe they don't get everything? I don't know if the Royals are going to get their downtown stadium and their ballpark village. I don't know if they can get both. I think you can have your suburban stadium and the ballpark village, or you can have your downtown stadium. I don't know if you're going to have access to both of them. And how much does that matter to the Royals? Are the Royals fine with just having a beautiful stadium in downtown Kansas City, Missouri, that you can streetcar down the road and then go to Power and Light if you want to? Are they happy with just doing that? I don't know. We'll find out at some point. I do think we're going to find out in the next 90 days. I think before opening day, we're going to have a clear picture of what the Royals are going to do.
I think we absolutely have to have one because, I mean, now maybe the Royals sign a small extension with the Truman Sports Complex, but man, it's January 6th of 2026. Their lease expires in 4 years. We know when the Chiefs are going to start playing football in their new building. You would presume the Royals want to be in their new building, wherever it is, in a similar start date. If they don't have a decision soon, what are we doing? Now, part of that, too, is if you're going to stay in Missouri, you're going to need to get a vote done. You better have a decision soon so you can get on the ballot, so you can even be voted on, whether it be North KC, downtown, wherever. If the clock's starting to tick on the Royals. We've been having these conversations for 5 years, and you still are like, oh, just give them there a few months. Not you, but the Royals. Give them there a few months. We'll have a plan. We promise. Woof.
I also just wonder, and maybe this is like a bad way of thinking. Someone on the text line says this. CDOT, how many districts do we need? Washington Square is ideal. I wonder that too. How many different pockets of the city do we need with shops and restaurants? Don't we got enough? That's what Power and Light is. Rob, do you randomly just go there on a Tuesday to Power and Light to shop and eat and do all of these? I mean, you have the ability to do that. Do you do this? Rob, how often do you go to Zona Rosa?
I mean,
is Zona Rosa that same thing?
I like to do a loop. Zona Rosa, Power and Light, Crossroad. I just do a loop every 5 days in the city.
I'm with you. I get why the Royals feel like this, and I understand wanting to have it. But now the Chiefs are going to build their own entertainment area that's separate from the Legends. So I've got to go to the Legends. You want me to go to this Chiefs thing. The Royals want me to go somewhere. I got to go to Power and Light. You got to go to Town Center, the Plaza. How many of these do we need in the city? There's 11 of them, and they keep talking about building more of them. Some of the ones we have ain't exciting enough. We now want to build more? I'm with you. I don't understand. I mean, I get it from a financial standpoint, why the teams would want this. They own it. They generate the revenue. I get it, but I'm with you. I don't need another entertainment district in the city. Just build an incredible stadium. That's it. Just build an amazing world-class stadium that hosts playoff games. We get another all-star game. It's on the streetcar line that you can, I'm with you. Someone said the Royals want to duplicate what's done in Atlanta. This isn't Atlanta. Atlanta's bigger than here.
Every major league town wants to duplicate Atlanta. All of them. I'm sure. I believe Atlanta, I mean, if we looked at every new building built in baseball and we listened to sports talk the weeks leading into those buildings, I guarantee those people were saying, Team Blank really just wants to replicate what's going on in Atlanta. Atlanta might be the outlier and not the norm.
No, it's not. Might not be the outlier. It is. It is the outlier is what it is. It is the outlier for sure. It is 100%. It is the outlier. All right, Rob, let's get to the hits.
Your workday is over.
Oh, yeah.
You're headed home, and now you're stuck in traffic. Time to get caught up on the biggest stories in Kansas City and around the country with CDOT and Rob. It's time for the hits. Number 1.
As always, Karen, the hits are brought to you by Baker University. Make your next era orange at Baker University, the first university in Kansas, and ranked number 1 in return on investment among private universities in the state. Baker University, forever in our orange era.
Someone on the text line says, CDOT, the teams keep that information very private about season ticket holders. It's not publicly available information. No, I agree with you. That's why I'm so confused when so many people say that they know the percentage of season ticket holders for the Chiefs and the Royals that live in Johnson County. And I just feel like I've heard that so much. People say it like it is a known fact without having none of the information. None. No clue of the information. That's what I'm saying. I'm with you. I don't know the answer to it, but I've heard so many people just repeat the same line when it comes to it that then makes me start to believe the line, even though there's no way for us to, because then I would say I have more questions about it. How many season ticket holders don't live in the area, period? I mean, we know that, We don't think that every season ticket holder lives in Jackson or Johnson County. How many of them live in Cass County? How many of them live in this county? How many of them travel in from, I would love to know all this information, but we have just touted that 60% of the season ticket holders for the Chiefs live in Johnson County, despite never seeing or hearing this information from them. That was my point.
I mean, it is. I don't know if it's the teams, but everyone. It's been the focal stat.
I feel like Bob started saying that, if I'm being honest. I feel like Bob started saying it and has just said it loud enough, and everyone has just started quoting Bob Fesco.
The number Bob says is sometimes different from the text line. I think Bob says 60. The text line's like 82%. You're like, where are you getting these numbers? You're just making them up.
Can we play the Bob? Can we play the Bob quote from yesterday? Can we play it? So I got 3 calls yesterday. Hey, did you hear what Bob said? And I was like, no, I didn't hear. I actually didn't even know about the quote until I was on social media, and I think I saw media. Shout out to them. They do a good job, taking people's quotes and posting them and doing all that stuff. I saw it, and I was like, oh, okay, interesting. I didn't really think anything of it, and then people kept asking me, hey, did you hear what Bob said? And I was like, no, I actually hadn't heard it. This is what Bob said yesterday on his show about Patrick Mahomes.
Here's the thing also that I heard over the holiday. They better win fast. Otherwise, 15 will be asking for a trade.
Oh.
And you're going to be moving into a new stadium asking for PSLs. And if this team is not putting together the product that is necessary, I am told 15 will be asking for that trade. He is not going to sit here and watch this organization dissipate around him. The Kansas City Chiefs right now are in no position to allow this thing to dissipate. They may take a step back before they take a step forward in 27, but they're not playing with time on their side right now. It's not okay to go into a lull if you're the Chiefs and then say, oh, by the way, it's time to ante up for PSLs and tickets to a brand new stadium. They need to keep winning, because if they don't, people will lose interest and they'll have a tough time marketing that new stadium.
I love Bob. I love Bob's family. Bob is my guy. I'm not here to crush what he's hearing or take or say it's fake news or clickbait. I'm not here to say any of those things. You could come to your own conclusion if that's what you want to do. You know that quote that it takes a lifetime to build up trust and you can ruin it in a moment? Almost everything Patrick Mahomes has done since becoming the starting quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs has been to build your trust in him as a brand and as a person. Everything he has done. From Whataburger to the Currents to 1587 to 15, everything he has done publicly has been to earn your trust that you can believe in me, that I am here for you, that I care about us as a community. Everything he has done. Cocktail to, at this point, a decade's worth of brand building. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me in no capacity. And I think we got to start remembering this when it comes to a request. A request can be denied. Tomorrow, if the text line was like, hey, you know what you should do? You should just have an hour of which you take phone calls. No. That's the answer. The answer is no. I'm not interested in that. Now, you got to make a decision on what you're going to do based on my answer, but that's the answer. No. Just because you ask for a trade doesn't mean that your team has to give you the trade. No. There's no scenario ever, if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs, in which I would trade Patrick Mahomes. None. I'm not saying that means he will always be on the team. Maybe you just Tom Brady and let his contract expire, but we got a long time till we get to that conversation. There is no scenario in which Patrick Mahomes could go to the owner of the team and say, I'm unhappy because of X, Y, and Z. Please take me to another team. And Clark Hunt's like, all right, I'll work on that. No, I'm not working on it. Go back to work is what I would tell you. Go back to work. You work for me. Please don't get this messed up. You are a millionaire. I'm a billionaire. I'm telling you what to do. Please go back to work and get out of my office. That's what I would tell him, just like that. And you can be mad. What are you going to be mad and do? You're going to be passive-aggressive in the media? No, you're not going to do that. So, no, stop it. Don't pay any attention to this. And I say this with love because Bob's my guy. Bob knows he's my guy. I say this with love. Please do not pay attention to this. Patrick Mahomes is not going to play for another team. Not even anywhere. No.
First off, me and you agree with everything you said. I also think this, because I was getting texts and people were like, can you believe what Bob said?
People were calling me on my personal phone. I didn't think anything of it until I was getting calls about it.
I don't think it's some earth-shattering take. Patrick Mahomes, who has been in the AFC title game every year of his career before this season, doesn't like losing. He might get frustrated if the team keeps losing. That's not some earth-shattering take to me. I also think Brett Veach, Andy Reid, Clark Hunt understand we have the crown jewel of the NFL. Let's not stink, or we could be frustrating a lot of people in the organization, not just Patrick Mahomes. So, do I think Patrick Mahomes is going to request a trade? No, that's not to discredit Bob's reporting. I don't think that's happening. But I also don't think it's some wild, outlandish, Bob's just searching for clicks take. Yeah, player who constantly wins hates losing is not some earth-shattering take to me. If over the next 5 years at Kansas, Bill Self misdetermined 5 years in a row, people would be mad with Bill Self.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be, can
Bill,
you believe?
go.
Yeah, people wouldn't be like, can you believe there? He says, no, he stinks now. We got to move on. That's life.
There's nothing I want more in my sports life than to see Kansas 1 year miss the NCAA tournament.
I'm happy you brought up Kansas, by the way. Thanks for doing that. I got some news from Fran Fraschilla, who's on the call tonight for ESPN.
Darren's going to play?
Darren is in the starting lineup.
Oh, goodness. It's been 2 months since Darren's been in the starting lineup at a KU home game. I'm not even joking. The Green Bay game. That was
Green Bay game, yep.
That was it.
I mean,
how do you think the students are going to react?
I think they're going to be very loud and happy that he is back.
Okay. How do you think it's going to be when he checks out of the game with
what's the score?
With 22 minutes left because he's done?
I think he might have to head into the tunnel for the Theragun time.
I'm telling you this. He better not sit in the Allen Fieldhouse bench on that Theragun. He has to go in the back.
100%. I actually agree. He needs to go to the locker room. Go to the locker room. Just do the Theragun in the locker room.
You cannot, in a home conference game, you cannot sit on there on the sideline not playing. I don't know if it's moping or pouting or whatever it is, and you doing the Theragun and talking. You have to go in the back because you and I have been in these situations. Then all of the energy in the building is then on one who is there sitting on the sideline. Man, that's different at Sprint Center. It's different when you're at NC State and this happens. It's different when you're on the road at UCF. You cannot, in a home game, have we all know that Darren Peterson moment. When he walks off to the sideline and his whole body language is, I'm done playing basketball for the day. He sits down in that special chair they give him. He gets that Theragun that you got off Amazon, and he sits there and he uses it for 20 minutes. No, you have to go inside if that happens today. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that he can finish the game. Darren Peterson has never been in the game when they've done the Rock Chalk chant. Think about that. He hasn't been in the game when that happens. I mean, that's one of you guys' traditions, I've heard. I mean, I normally leave by that point. I'm not sitting around for that. Come on now. I'm not sitting around. I gotta go. I can't be in the building for when that happens. I haven't heard that chant in 8 years. I don't want any part of it. But he has to finish the game. I'll ask you right now, 3 minutes left in the game. Is Darren Peterson in the game? Because that's the real question. He's starting is one thing. 3 minutes left in the game. Is he in the game?
I don't think so. And part of that's a cop-out. I don't think this game should be close tonight. I don't think you need him at the under 4. But I've never seen him finish a game. We joke all day about how I've never seen him play at Allen. Has anyone seen him play a complete game? Has anyone seen him in the final 5 of a game? Even at North Carolina, he wasn't on the floor in the final 5 minutes. He was on the side working the Theragun. NC State, Theragun. UCF, Theragun. Has anyone seen him play the crunch time minutes at Kansas? So I'm gonna bet the trend. He's not gonna be on the floor the under 4 media timeout. They're gonna play the hum, and he's gonna be watching from the sideline.
I'm with you. All right, coming up on the other side, we'll talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll talk about Xavier Worthy. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, folks, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Many men remember their first time. Not that first time. I'm talking about the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined that special moment. And if you're over 50, then the chances are then you've experienced this before. That first time can be frustrating. It can be a little bit embarrassing. But here's the good news. At Heartland Men's Health, that first time can also be the last time. Heartland Men's Health specializes in treating ED when the pills and herbals fail. With a success rate of over 90%, many men see results just after one visit. So your first visit is just $99, which includes a consult, lab work, and if medically advised, you get a test dose. And if it doesn't work right there in the office, then your visit is on the house. So don't let ED define your sex life. Call my friends at Heartland Men's Health today at 844-447-6600 or check out the website, heartlandmenshealth.com today. You can also stop by and visit any of the 3 area locations, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City. Be sure to stop by Heartland Men's Health.
Hey, hockey fans! Now with BetMGM, you can win a share of $10,000 in bonus bets when your anytime goal scorer nets 3. Enter BetMGM's Hat Trick Jackpot all season long for your chance to win some major bonus bets. It's easy. Just log in and opt into the promotion. Then make an anytime score bet on any hockey game of at least $10. If your player of choice scores 3 goals instead of just 1, you'll win your share of the $10K in bonus bets. There's nothing quite like watching a game with a hat trick, especially when it means you can win a share of $10,000 in bonus bets. Ready to shoot your shot? Download the app today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards or bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
This is your college football postseason update, presented by Factor. Eat like a pro. College postseason drama is heating up, and this weekend powerhouse programs delivered when it mattered most, with top seeds punching their tickets and surviving must-win matchups to keep their championship hopes alive. As the playoff picture tightens, every drive, every decision, every moment matters. Just like the athletes leaving it all on the field, Factor meals fuel performance with pro-level nutrition delivered to your door, ready when you are. Factor. Eat like a pro.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
This new year, get started on your next success with University of Maryland Global Campus. Apply by February 11th and get your application fee waived. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid classes, along with more than 135 degrees and certificates in fields like business, cybersecurity, healthcare, and more. Gain the skills you need to achieve your career goals. Get your application fee waived through February 11th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Paid for client betrayal and endorsement. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Give me one good reason why I should call DM Law.
How about 3 great reasons? 1, it's easy. 2, it's fast. 3, the results.
Mike's got this. 816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Okay, big problems for 35 through Shawnee, 35 northbound at Shawnee Mission Parkway. Multi-car crash, 2 left lanes are blocked. And also dealing with that above that, 35 northbound at Antioch, 3 left lanes are blocked. Very heavy through the area. Downtown, you've got a crash, 2 cars, 70 eastbound at Brooklyn. Right lane blocked there. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Trent McDuffie from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, you know what? I changed my mind. I said we were going to talk about Xavier Worthy. They always say that's like Radio 101. You got to pay off the tease. I apologize. I've changed my mind on what I want to talk about. What I would like to talk about is the fact that the Baltimore Ravens don't have a head coach right now. They had John Harbaugh. He is no longer their head coach. Adam Schefter is coming out and reporting that multiple NFL teams have already reached out to John Harbaugh to gauge what his interest is. And right now, John Harbaugh is the favorite for the head coaching job of the New York Giants. So all of this has come out in the last couple of minutes about John Harbaugh. the Giants just make so much sense to me on both sides. I don't think that Harbaugh is going to Las Vegas. From what we know about the relationship between him and his brother, they are very, very close. And I just can't see him signing up for a situation in which you would directly be competing against your brother. It's one thing where you're on one side, they're on another side, and if you play each other, you play each other. That's one thing. But being in the same division, you play them twice, you're fighting with them in the standings. I find it really hard to believe that that's what John is going to do in the last 4 or 5 years of his career. The Giants just make so much sense. It's a proud organization with the history. It's an incredible city. It's a team that has a quarterback. It's a team that has some weapons, has some pieces, has some of the draft pick capital to go out there and make moves. I mean, the Giants just check so many boxes, in my opinion. I think it's the best available job other than the Ravens job is the Giants job. And if you're him, I think that's the one that you got to take. Now, I do think this is very, very interesting and why I would wait if I'm him and why I think that, the whole landscape should just wait. If you think you got a chance on Harbaugh, you should not be making a coaching decision. I would see what happens with Buffalo if I'm Harbaugh. I really would wait to see what happens. What if Buffalo loses this weekend? What if Buffalo loses? Are we sure that McDermott is coming back next year? Are we 100% certain that that's the case? Because if Buffalo is available and you have a 30-year-old Josh Allen, that's the best job in the NFL. And that's the job you should go take if you're him. And Buffalo should be happy to have you and think that you are the one to help get us over the hump when it comes to us there. You're moving into a new stadium too, the excitement with, yes. If I'm Harbaugh, I wait to see what happens in Buffalo. I wait to see how this weekend plays itself out. And if the Bills lose and they lose in the wild card round, they're moving into a new stadium. Are they going to just keep everything the same? And if you're the Bills and knowing that you could maybe entice Harbaugh to go out there, maybe you make a decision. If I'm him, I'm not jumping into anything. There's no reason to make I let the next 2 weeks play itself out. And if you miss out on the Titans job, well, so be it. If you miss out on the Atlanta Falcons job, okay. But I got to find out what the situation could potentially be in Buffalo. That's how I would play it if I'm John.
So to give credence to your theory, which I don't think is wrong, Adam Schefter's tweet says 45 minutes after he got fired, 7 teams called him. There are 7 openings, Carrington. Baltimore didn't call him. So someone without an opening called John Harbaugh's agent.
You should. You should.
So I don't know it's Buffalo. I don't know who it is. But someone who has an active head coach in the NFL.
It could be a lot. I mean, it could be. It
could be Tampa Bay, John Harbaugh or Todd Bowles. It could be.
It could be Indianapolis. It could be anybody.
It could be we could speculate away for hours on who it is. My point is this: to give credence to your theory of, hey, if you're John Harbaugh, wait, a team with a sitting head coach is one of the teams that called your agent. The 6 open jobs, and then a 7th mystery team called, which means other teams are at least kicking the tires and thinking about it. So if I'm John Harbaugh, I wait. And that's why I think this year's coaching carousel is going to be slow because everyone's going to try to figure out what Harbaugh's doing and then react from there. Maybe Stefanski, who's the other hot name, kind of changes the calculus. But if you're Team X and you have a chance at Harbaugh, you have to wait until you find out you're not getting Harbaugh before you hire someone. Like if you're the Titans and you say, you know what, we're going to go ahead and hire whoever, and you find out later John Harbaugh was interested, then you screwed up your whole coaching search and you'll get fired.
I'll throw another team out there. Let's just have some real wild sports talk speculation. What if John Harbaugh right now called the general manager of the Philadelphia Eagles and said, I'm interested in coming? What do you do if you're the Eagles?
You have a very, very tough decision to make.
I'm saying right now, John Harbaugh picks up the phone. He calls Howie Roseman. He calls what their owners, Jeff Lurie. He calls and says, hey, I love what you guys are doing. I think that's a great fit for me. I want to be the next head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. What do the Eagles do?
If I was Jeff Lurie, if I was Howie Roseman.
I'm telling Nick Sirianni he has to go.
I would tell Nick Sirianni
he has to go.
I agree.
Which is tough. That's why I'm saying, and I know this is sports talk radio, we're throwing things out here. You have to wait to see what Harbaugh's decision is. You have to wait if you think you got a shot. There's some organizations that aren't going to have a shot. You want to know where he's not going? Arizona. He's not going to be the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. You can go ahead and write that out. But a lot of these other teams, if you're Miami, I'm going to hire a coach and not at least give myself, I'm making Harbaugh say no, he won't even sit down with me. Remember when Peyton Manning was deciding what he wanted to do? And then Peyton made it pretty clear. I'm only talking to these 4 teams. I'm making Harbaugh do the exact same thing if I'm one of these teams. I'm making him do the exact same thing. I'm making him say no, and then we can go out and hire the Kevin Stefanskis, all of those things. But Philadelphia, to me, is a very interesting. Philadelphia and Buffalo are very interesting to me. Someone said there's any chance the Chiefs? None. There's no chance the Chiefs made that phone call today.
None. Andy Reid would have retired by now. If that was the case. I don't see a scenario where Brett Veach, who was hired after Andy Reid, and Clark Hunt, who is basically only reported to by Andy Reid, is quietly maneuvering in the back to get a coach lined up for if Andy's retiring. I think yesterday's press conference would have been Andy retired. That's the only way that would have happened.
The same point I made about Mahomes earlier, how it takes a lifetime to build up trust and a moment to take it away. I'm just going to assume that the trust between Andy Reid and Brett Veach is 100%. If I found out that you called and tried to get me replaced after I just announced that I was coming back and I wanted to be here, I would go to Clark Hunt and say, I'm either quitting today or you fire him. I'm walking up to the owner. I already got one general manager fired. I will get you fired too. If you walked up there behind my back and tried to get a new head coach in here, I committed to being here. I helped get you this job. I can no longer work with you. I cannot be around you. So if there is a team I am 100% did not call, it's Kansas City.
I agree with all that. I also think Andy Reid has been good enough in Kansas City in the NFL where he gets to write his ticket. Yesterday's press conference would have been a retirement if that's what the Chiefs are thinking. Andy Reid wouldn't have met with the media and talked about next season and how he's planning on coming back if there was thoughts in the works that, John Harbaugh could be available. Like, I'm betting, you know how the same way, like, people in the know kind of know where things are going to go, like, after the combine? We know. I'm betting people in NFL circles had a hunch John Harbaugh's in the hot seat. Andy Reid's not announcing he's coming back, and I'm the guy on a Zoom yesterday if there's any thought that he isn't that guy.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, what about if he's on the staff and in 2 years? I
John Harbaugh's not taking a special teams coordinator job when he could be the head coach of the Bills. He can't. No.
And he's 63.
I mean, I'd love him as special teams coordinator, but there's just no chance of that. I'd love him as special teams coordinator. I really hope that another sitting head coach becomes offensive. That's just not happening.
No. You know what? I'll be the coach in waiting. Why don't you guys come hire me as I'm another team's head coach? I'm not sitting around as your underling until you decide you don't want to work here anymore. John Harbaugh, he is 63 years old. He will be 64 in September of this upcoming year, and he is now a free agent. This is probably the biggest coaching free agent since, I would say Andy Reid, but, last year, Vrabel was a pretty big free agent. Vrabel was a big one.
What do you do with Jim Harbaugh? I guess he wasn't a free agent, but everyone knew he went back in the league.
Yeah, that's a fair one. That's a really good one.
Everyone knew, hey, he just won the national title. What NFL job does he want?
Every year there's kind of one. I think there's like varying degrees. Like it's usually the hot shot coordinator person, like the Todd Haley, the Sean McVay, the Zach Taylor. It's normally that. Or it's this. It's the former head coach that's now available that lets you know I'm back. I'm ready to be here. And this year we got our answer. It is John Harbaugh. It is going to be very interesting to see where he lands. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan.
The boats are back at Bartle Hall with 4 days of screaming deals on hundreds of boats at the KC Boat and Fishing Show, January 8th through the 11th.
Check out wake surf boats and pontoons, fishing boats, and luxury cruisers.
Enjoy nonstop entertainment, live stingrays, pro angler demos, and meet KC's Pitcher of the Year, Noah Cameron.
Get ready for fun in the sun at the Boat and Fishing Show, January 8th to the 11th at the convention center.
Pick up a free Thursday, Sunday ticket at Hy-Vee. Go to KCMoBoatShow.com for info.
Kids are free.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the last 2 minutes of a televised football game,
There's another timeout. We'll be back after this.
it's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause. And Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Don't let winter catch you off guard. Keep your family cozy with a $69 heating system tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. We have pros available 7 days a week to keep your system running at peak efficiency, helping prevent costly breakdowns, lower energy bills, and keep your home warm all winter long. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
License number 2025-11121.
Hi, this is Toby Tobin along with Jason Goodenkoff from Lewisburg Ford in Lewisburg, Kansas. Hi, Jason.
Hello, Toby.
Let's talk about the buying experience at Lewisburg Ford.
It's the best anywhere. Just ask all our customers, Toby. It is hands down the best experience you can have buying a new car. We have the no-hassle Toby Tobin price that we've had for over 45 years now. Nobody else can say that. We've been saving Kansas City thousands and thousands of dollars for a lot of years.
I have been buying Ford cars and trucks from Lewisburg Ford for over 30 years. And I know personally this is the best place to buy a Ford car or truck. Great prices, but there's a whole lot more than that.
It doesn't just stop at price, Toby.
Yeah.
There's other factors to this equation, and it's trade-in allowance, financing, and the experience of how knowledgeable the people are that you're dealing with. And we surpass everybody in all those areas. We always have. We always will. That's why calling us is important.
Do you have that new pickup?
Absolutely. And it's dynamite.
Okay. Lewisburg Ford is your best place to buy a Ford car or truck. What's your toll-free number?
816-444-2300.
Lewisburg Ford or LewisburgFord.com.
Presented by Robinhood.
It crosses, spins, pulls up.
With Robinhood prediction markets, buy or sell your predictions all game long. No house odds, just you versus the market. Put your sports IQ to work. Trade every shot, block, steal, run, and moment that shifts the game. With Robinhood prediction markets, trade every play. Visit Robinhood.com/predict to start trading. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This season, enjoy stress-free comfort with easy booking and trusted service from Anthony. Save up to $4,500 on a new high-efficiency HVAC system. Schedule today at AnthonyPHCE.com.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by the KC Boat and Fishing Show, January 8th through the 11th, KCMoBoatShow.com. Get ready for fun in the sun at the KC Boat and Fishing Show, January 8th through the 11th at Bartle Hall Convention Center, with kids free admission.
Take advantage of 4 days of special show pricing on hundreds of boats and non-stop entertainment.
Go to KCMoBoatShow.com for info.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
35 is not fun. We've still got the multi-car crash working in Shawnee. 35 northbound as you approach Shawnee Mission Parkway. Left lane is blocked, and now a new problem further down 35 northbound at 435. Right lane blocked. That is at least a 2 or 3 car crash. And I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Follow the station on Instagram at TheFan965 for giveaways and behind-the-scenes content.
I was reading an article during the commercial break that said Al Michaels believes he still has it. Al, somebody got to sit down and tell you the truth, man. No, you don't. And we love you. Al, you don't have it no more. That fastball, it's gone, brother. Al Michaels is throwing like Jamie Moyer right now. You don't have it anymore, Al. I mean that from the bottom. I mean that with love. Nothing but love. Rob, I'm currently doing two things right now. The first thing I am doing is I am reading the book Friday Night Lights. I have never read the book. I've seen the movie. I love the TV show. I've never read the book. I'm currently in the process. That is my January 2026 goal, is reading that. And I'm also currently watching Breaking Bad. I am in the middle of season 3. I just finished the Fly episode, which is probably one of the 5 most popular episodes of the show. It has really started to hit its stride the last 4 or 5 episodes or so. It's really, really gotten going. In hindsight, all of the stuff in season 1 and 2 about Marie and her shoplifting and all that, I didn't care about that the second time through. I didn't care. But I feel like basically since appeared and all of the aftermath with Jane leading into now, and then you Gus, it's been episodes or so. It's been great.
Friends were ahead of me in the show. I was a little late to it. I always felt like the shoplifting stuff was stupid.
It's so dumb.
Like
I don't even understand really the purpose of it.
When she goes to the open house and steals like the forks, you're like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I don't even really understand the purpose of it.
It's just awful.
I do like Skylar's turn in the show. That's kind of where I am right now. Where, I mean, I noticed it, but now it's just like more apparent to me. I kind of know what's happening is she is helping her boyfriend embezzle money, but is now playing this high moral ground with her husband and his illegal activity. And as she starts to shift and just acceptance of who he is, and then just watching more and more, like there are certain moments where you start to see how Walter breaks bad. That's the concept of the show. It's how he starts to break bad. And I mean, Jane's storyline is really the turn to me, is when you can see that he is a different person.
When she turns, is that around the time they buy the car wash?
I'm not at that part yet.
Okay.
I'm not at that part, but that part's definitely coming.
That's where I, in my brain,
that
have
part's
always
definitely
said,
coming.
When they buy the car wash and they use Bill Burr, hilarious as Bill Burr in
For sure.
hindsight, to have to be the fake EPA agent to basically run that guy out of business, buy it, and then become the money laundering operation. That's when I realized, oh, she's also, that's when she became a more interesting character to me at that point.
Yeah. Did you watch Stranger Things? Are you a Stranger Things person?
I am not a Stranger. My wife loves Stranger Things. It's not for me.
I've never seen an episode of Stranger Things. Like not a single one.
I watched the first season.
I don't know anything about it other than it's about kids and it's like a sci-fi show. I know it recently ended and I saw it made like $25 million at the theater. I know a lot of people that were excited about it. I don't know anything about it.
The first season I watched, it's like the Goonies, but then it gets kind of way more sci-fi than that.
And you just weren't.
It wasn't for me. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know. Have you seen this show, The Pit? I see a lot of people talking about The Pit.
Maybe I'm a little bit skittish about like health stuff, like major injuries and things, like watching sports, like Joe Theismann injuries. I hear The Pit is like ER, but way more graphic with the injuries, and that's a pass for me.
Okay. I haven't seen the last one of those injuries I saw. Maybe Willis McGahee. Ever since then, I've been like,
did you see Gordon Hayward live? That one was bad.
No.
Kevin Ware was also terrible live.
I didn't see the Kevin Ware, actually. I didn't see the Kevin Ware. I'll never forget. I was watching the Cavs in Boston. I went to go get something to eat. And then when I came back, you know that like gif where everybody is, I was like, man, what did I miss? And then I found out what I missed. But I have never seen the Gordon Hayward injury. I'm okay. I don't need to see it. I'm fine.
I was watching that live and I saw that and Kevin Ware live. Kevin Ware was terrible because CBS kept showing it. They're like, another angle. You're like, stop showing it.
Someone on the text line says there's supposed to be a secret episode of Stranger Things that gets released tomorrow. My understanding is that's a behind the scenes documentary. It is not an episode of the show. It is how they made the finale documentary. That's my understanding.
I knew that there's like a peek behind the curtain something coming. I didn't know if it was a secret episode.
That's what I thought. I mean, I could be wrong. I honestly, All I know is that I think Millie Bobby Brown is on the show and that one Caleb kid. And it's a sci-fi show in like Hawkins. Is that the name of the place? That's literally all I know about
Joseph
the show.
Quinn, who's now in Fantastic Four, he was on it for a while.
I don't know who that is.
He was the Human Torch in Fantastic. You didn't see Fantastic Four?
No, I didn't see that. I didn't
mind
see
then.
I did see the Marvel trailer today. I did see that.
The X-Men one? There you go.
Yeah, we should have got to this X-Men thing a lot earlier than we've gotten to it.
Well, they've been messing around for 4 years.
Yeah, we should have got there.
Get back to your roots.
I mean, Chadwick's passing and Jonathan Majors really messed them up for the last couple of years or so. They don't really have much of a direction. But if we're about to get into the X-Men, sign me up. Please sign me up. I can't wait. That's the next Marvel movie I'll go. I don't have any interest in anything else other than the X-Men.
Spider-Man, you'll go see Spider-Man.
I didn't see the last one. You and I have been watching Spider-Man. You and I watching Spider-Man for 20 years. I know. He's with Mary Jane and no one knows who he is and he flies. I know the storyline of the show. They still got Zendaya? Are they still coming back?
Everyone's coming back.
Okay.
Euphoria is also coming back, speaking of TV shows that she's in.
What did you
say? Euphoria is coming back soon, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, anything Sydney Sweeney's in, I'll support.
I went and saw The Housemaid on a screener, but I still went and saw The Housemaid.
I have not seen The Housemaid, but I did realize that I guess Sydney Sweeney doesn't die because she's in the sequel. I don't know anything about that either. I have no clue. I have no clue. I don't know what The Housemaid is about. I just know the two main characters, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll watch it. I'm waiting until it hit Fire Stick Records, though. I'm watching it when it's available for home to stream. All right, we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourself. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan.
Jeff Montgomery here from Amoeba Medical. The new year is all about turning the page and feeling your best. Men, if better sleep and fewer bathroom trips are on your list, and in large